please contact Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge.
Oh, Zach, there's so much to do. The barbecue is a disaster. The yard's a total mess, and the windows...
No need to stress. Jiffy is on the way.
That's fast. How?
Jiffy is that easy, honey.
Jiffy?
Jiffy is the fastest and easiest way to get things done around the house. The most reliable pros booked in seconds. It's that simple. Just download the Jiffy app or sign up at jiffyondemand.com. Use code SPORTS for $25 off your first job. Jiffy, Canada's #1 home maintenance app.
Thank you, Jiffy.
Hey, Sasquatch here. I've made a lot of friends working out at Planet Fitness. Let me introduce you to the Sasquad. First up, the Kettlebell Queen. She puts the fun in functional training. Next, Sir lifts a lot. He lifts a lot. And of course, the Stretcher. Her flexibility.
Get started at Planet Fitness today for $1 down and then $15 a month. Offer expires May 15th. $49 annual fee applies. See Home Club for details.
Well, what do we have here? The Leafs had a 2-0 series lead. Now it's tied at 2. The Leafs shut out in Game 4, but as the first round shows, they can respond to that. In fact, that's what keeps this optimistic. The Leafs' ability to battle through situations. They're in one now. Another spin. It's a home ice series so far. Will that continue? Well, let's find out. Molson Canadian Leafs hockey starts now.
It's time for Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Yes, they do. Welcome to Scotiabank Arena, Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. Jim Taddy, former NHLer Anthony Stewart with you. Bonesy and Ralphie standing by. And we just have the lines confirmed and handed to us. So for the Leafs, it'll be Matthews between Marner and Nyes. Tavares centering Nylander and Pacioretty. Domi centering Nick Robertson and Bobby McMahon. David Camp centering Stephen Lorentz and Scott Laughton. The blue line pairings the same. Riley Carlo, McCabe Tanev, Benoit and OEL. And Joseph Wall starts in goal. The change for the Panthers is Boquist is on the left side of Barkov and Reinhardt, and that means Rodriguez is out after the OEL hit. What do you make of all that?
Well, it seems like it's not necessarily a panic move, but just switching things up to try to get a little bit of a different energy out of your bottom six by Craig Berube and the Toronto Maple Leafs teams. You're seeing Nick Robertson draw into the right side on the third line with Max Domi and Bobby McMahon, and that's a line that sort of had some chemistry and some hot streaks where they played 2, 3, 4 games in a row where they've scored multiple goals. I could see Robertson, and we all know his track record. When he comes out of the press box, he's sort of due for a goal. So good there. Camp, he's another guy just solid, safe, up and down, defensively responsible, doesn't take penalties. But again, that fourth line has been fairly decent throughout this playoffs. Scott Laughton's getting in physical. He's killing some penalties. Lorentz is adding his speed as well, too. And, you know, we've been doing a 30-minute show. We haven't even mentioned the D. That's the best compliment for a D, where you don't even notice them, you don't talk about them. They've been doing their job right now, too. But ultimately, you can interchange third, fourth, fifth liners. It's going to come down to the top guys stepping up tonight, and I'm looking for a big response in this series by Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner.
So when we talk about bend but don't break, that really describes the Maple Leaf blue line, doesn't it?
It's, you know, when every team wants a Quinn Hughes and a Cale Makar, and if you don't, this is how I would build my lineup. Guys that play a good two-way game but are defensively reliable, and they thrive in the DN. Starting with Chris Tanev, who's been blocking an amazing amount of shots. He's been playing great. Jake McCabe, physical. Carlo, big, long, clearing up the front of the net. Same thing with OEL, just adding a nasty element. So this is great. And don't want to forget mentioning Simone Benoit, who scored some big goals throughout the year and been playing a great physical game as well, too. So this is a perfect mix, a big, strong, hard to play against. And that's a key for them, playing tough to play against this Florida Panthers team.
Wow, this building is really loud, and the players haven't hit the ice yet. That's going to happen in the next minute or so, and then it's going to erupt. Here is Jake McCabe on the excitement of playing Game 5.
We knew this was going to be a tough series, so excited to get Game 5 here. Game 5 here at home ice.
What's worked well for you guys in this building? It feels like you guys have had a good run in Toronto.
I think I've liked our starts. Most of the series, obviously Game 3 had a great start too. That's going to be key tonight, and let's get on the attack early and get our fans up in their seats.
Jake, after the first 2 games, Paul Maurice said he felt like they weren't really playing Panther hockey. Did you feel a difference in games 3 and 4? Were they forechecking a bit harder?
I felt the same. I think games 1 and 2 were difficult as well. So it's a team that forechecks hard and plays hard, and there's a reason they've been to the last 2 finals.
You guys lost a couple in a row in that Ottawa series. What did you like, or what did you sense from the group when you had to respond from that? Are you feeling a similar vibe here?
Yeah, I feel like we've responded all playoffs long, frankly, whether it's through a series or throughout a game. I think our resilience has been solid and composure's been good, so I don't expect that to change.
Craig was saying he felt like you guys were the more physical team in Game 4, and obviously we know Florida is a very physical team. What do you like about, I guess, how the group is handling the physical side of the series so far?
I'm not surprised. I don't think anybody should be. I think we've shown it all year that we can play a couple different ways, and when we're at our best, we're physical, we're on the forecheck, we're on the hunt, and we need to continue to do so.
What's been your perspective on Camp and how he's managed a long layoff lately here?
True pro, like he always does. He comes in and works, and he's got a smile on his face, and great teammate.
When he's at his best, what does he bring to the lineup?
He's a great penalty killer, good in the face-off dot. Just a steady presence for us down the middle.
That is Jake McCabe. Could almost not hear him because the in-house show just got cranked. Players still not on the ice yet. The officials are doing their warm-up laps, but this is going to get really loud really fast. We see on the scoreboard that the Leafs are still at the sort of the exit of the dressing room. Joseph Wall there. I mean, it's got to be a really good feeling at this moment for both hockey teams, too.
Yeah, I'm jealous, right? And this is the one thing as a hockey player that you miss, sort of the crowd, the roar of the crowd. I didn't hear one thing. Who was that, Jake McCabe talking? Who was that, right?
I didn't hear it either.
That's what it's all about. Playoff hockey in this city, just a different energy, different vibe. I'm going to try to get my hands on one of these rally towels here, too. But just the energy is definitely, as a player, I just remember getting ramped up and fired up. So I'm expecting a big, energetic, exciting start by this Toronto Maple Leafs team.
So they have the picture on the scoreboard, the live video, and there's just this ritual of how they have to sort of do the handshakes and the fist pumps with each other before, and Marner does the last, so now they can go out.
Yes, there's a pecking order on who goes, and I remember it got dicey sometimes. You're having those conversations. Hey, I'm the second guy out, or I'm the last guy out as well, too. But again, it just talks about the camaraderie of this group and just sort of the intersectionalities of what it is to be a National Hockey League player.
Yeah, guess who just hit the ice?
Amazing.
So let's go back to Marner and Matthews. When you watch what Florida's doing to them, how can they get through that?
I don't think it's a skill, it's a will, right? I think for them, not turning over on pucks, getting in, and it's not about going and throwing a big hit, creating separation. How many times do you remember seeing Austin Matthews when he scored 69 goals, going in, leaning with his hips and creating separation, going to the net? He scored multiple goals on tips, redirection, 2-3 feet away from the crease. Same thing with Marner, a little bit less on the flank. Get involved, create some time and space by getting involved and welcoming the contact, not avoiding it.
And for Marner, a bit of a different challenge. They simply run him, don't they?
Welcome to the NHL. I got ran in the parking lot on the way here. So next question.
That train ride was pretty aggressive, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Go Leafs go, yeah.
So obviously we're going to be focusing on the start and maybe the lack of penalties. So, that's pretty well. That sets the tone for sure, doesn't it?
It is. I'm looking for the first 5 minutes. It's not even necessarily what I'm seeing. It's what I'm hearing. I want to hear that glass rattling. I want to hear the crowd and the energy and having them something to cheer for within the first 5 minutes of this game.
Okay, Stu, fasten your seatbelts. Trey's in the upright position. The opening faceoff is next. That'll mean time for Joe Bowen and Jimmy Ralph to set the table for us. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Frederick Anderson, number 1 goaltender with the Canes. Congratulations on the contract extensions.
Yeah, good organization. I have high standards, and I want to push for that championship every year. And we haven't gotten to the ultimate goal, but we've been knocking on the door, and that's the perfect situation. Being on a team that's got those aspirations.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellar. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
16 out of 32. If you know your math, that's 50%. In the last calendar year, Jake, 50% of the teams in the National Hockey League have made a coaching change. That is absolutely ridiculous. Either coaches in this league just suck. So they've been the scapegoats in this league for years and years and years, decades. It's an epidemic at this point.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it!
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have a take and don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, this show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
Panthers cruise.
And then
he's in. Nylander with a shot. It's gone.
There were 8.
Draisaitl to McDavid, down the right wing, to the net, score!
With the first round behind us, the battles only get more intense.
The whole way by Duhaime. Oh, Wilson!
Along the goal line to the front of the net, it's loose. Tkachuk with it, a shot, and he scores!
The Stanley Cup playoffs continue.
Follow your favorite team, NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
No one brings you the passion of the beautiful game quite like Sirius XM FC.
Would you believe this?
Whether it's live matches from the EPL, MLS, the NWSL, or the UEFA Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
And the Leafs hosting the Florida Panthers with this series tied at 2 games apiece. And for everyone that says the regular season doesn't mean anything, it's what they do in the playoffs, yeah, I agree. But the regular season means Game 5 is here. And if there's a Game 7, it's here. And the way this crowd has been and the energy they brought, I think it is pretty important. We're ready to go. Face off at center ice. Puck is dropped and we're underway. Panthers get clear of it and will bring it in on the wing on the near side and down into the Leaf zone. Played by Morgan Riley around the boards. It's going to come out off Nylander to center. Pacioretty almost got behind Ekblad. The puck goes down into the Florida zone. Nylander against the boards, unable to come up with it. Panthers will flip it in over the line, and Marchand goes into the corner with a centering pass from Lundell that was blocked. Marchand in the far corner, ringing it around the boards. It'll come to Seth Jones at the right point with a long shot that is blocked. Nylander was in behind everyone, but no one could get him the puck. Panthers get it right back in again, and Wall out of the goal, playing it up on the boards. Leafs will get it high off the wall to the near side, and it is chopped at by Nyes and then controlled by Riley. Morgan Riley back in his own zone. Leafs organizing into the first minute. Changes coming here for both teams. Brought out now by Toronto. Drop pass for Matthews, who hits the line. Matthews in on the right wing for Nyes. Now to Marner. Marner to the near side. McCabe with a shot in traffic that is blocked. And the rebound is pushed out at center ice as Barkov tries to get to it as a shot into the Toronto end. Tanev playing it around back of the net. Unable to get it away from Sam Reinhart. It comes to the point near side Kulikov. Kulikov doesn't shoot it. Backhands it behind the net. Tanev is first there. Reverses it for McCabe. And McCabe will just flip it but doesn't get it high enough to get it out. Played right back down into the Toronto end. Tanev playing it around back of the net for Jake McCabe. McCabe waiting for some of the forechecking to clear. Looks up on the left wing and gets it ahead. It is Lorenz across the line for Lawton, and a pass for Lorenz didn't connect as it comes back at center ice. Now it is launched high, bouncing wide of the Florida goal. Back of the net, Lorenz playing it back to the point, kept alive by Benoit. Benoit with a centering effort that goes around back of the net. OEL on the far side, getting it down into the corner, but it gets by David Kemp, who's in the lineup tonight along with Nick Robertson. And the scratches, Pontus Holmberg and Kalle Järnkrok. Panthers getting a change, and the Leafs will get it up on the left wing off Lorenz's stick. He looks to the bench to see about a change as Domi is into the forecheck. The puck comes to the line, a deflection shot that goes wide of the Florida net. Neither team with a shot on goal as yet. And now a block that is going to send it all the way down into the Toronto zone. Goaltender Wall getting it along the boards, is pumped around to the near side, but it won't clear. Cleared back into the corner, cut off by the Leafs and fed out at center ice with a bouncing puck that McMahon could not get to. Brought right back in by Nossikin over the line, and a wrist shot is deflected wide of the goal. Morgan Riley back of the net into the corner for Carlo. Brandon Carlo got it to the line, but not out. Kept alive here by Florida, and a wrist shot is off a leg wide. McMahon getting it back behind the net for Riley, and Riley looks back for him and will return the favor, who then sends it right back to Morgan Riley because the Leafs are changing. Joe Bowen along with Jim Ralph in the broadcast booth high above center ice here at Scotiabank Arena. Backhanded to the red line and played into the Toronto zone. McCabe reverses the puck for Tanev, but it was intercepted partially there. Tanev regains it, now works along the boards, had it knocked away as it comes around to the near side, and Pacioretty is there. He can't get it out initially, and the Leafs have it again with McCabe, playing it back into the far corner, and now out at center ice for Nylander. He drops it back for McCabe, who gets it ahead for Pacioretty. Long shooting, a trouble there by Bobrovsky, who mishandled it, but no damage done. Back come the Panthers in over the line with Reinhart. Getting it down and around back of the net, played back up on the wing for Matthews. And Matthews starts out of the Toronto zone. Dropping it off now for Marner, who comes through neutral ice. To the line and in for Matthews. Matthews banned on a shot. And the puck is stolen back there by Florida. And Barkov gets it out at center. Reinhart to the line and in. Coming up on 5 minutes played without a whistle. Matthews on the far boards. Has it on his stick now. Looks to play it ahead and finds Matthew Nyes. Nyes will play it into the corner. Round back of the net with a hefty hit, Nyes. But no one on the far wing to accept his pass after stealing the puck back. Morgan Riley has to go back in Toronto territory. Played it ahead off of the linesman. And our first whistle is an opportunity to bring in the two-time OHL goaltender of the year, James Ralph Esquire, late of the suit.
I wasn't ready for the last part.
No, I realize that.
I figure you kind of embellished the first part. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Well, no, we were doing well.
With great pace at the start of this game, but the Florida Panthers have had the early edge in offensive zone time.
Face off to the right in the Toronto end.
Leafs have actually outscored the opposition 8-3 in the 5 home games in the playoffs.
Shot from an angle, deflects off a body and goes wide of the net.
In the first period.
All right. Yeah. At the point, another shot kicked away there by Wall, and it is Lawton getting it ahead for Lorenz. Lorenz tries to get in over the line but couldn't get around the defenseman. Panthers get it up on the wing for Bennett. Oh, Jake McCabe had the bomb doors open there. It's in over the line for Lawton. Tried to flip it off there for Lorenz going to the net, but it goes into the corner. Lorenz along the boards to the near side for Max Domi, who gets there first. Domi playing it around the wall. It'll go to the point far side. Tanev can't shoot it at the net. Goes D to Jake McCabe. Pass into the slot. Domi a backhand, and that was stopped by Bobrovsky. Wasn't much of a shot. Didn't get much on it. Panthers trying to get it out, and they do get it to center, but the Leafs are there again. Playing it back into the zone for Tanev. And the gathering is in full voice here tonight. Here's Tanev getting to the red line and shooting it in. In goes Tavares after it against the boards as it comes around to the far side, and Nylander banks it back for Tavares, who sends it into the near corner. Pacioretty arrives in ill humor to get it back in the net now for Tavares. To the point, far side to the defense, tipped in by Oliver Ekman-Larsson, but no shot at the net. And A.J. Greer is going to pump it off the boards and get it down the ice. Slow up. Linesman waved it off. No icing.
Somebody's got dinner reservations.
Yes, I think. Now it's back down into the Florida zone. Played along the wall out at center. Riley unable to block it as it goes into the corner for Luosterainen. Luosterainen taken to the boards there by David Kampf. Kampf has him pinned up against the wall. Puck is in behind the Toronto goal. Dug out by Brandon Carlo. On the boards, and Lorenz backhands to center ice. Ekblad getting it back in over the line on the right wing side. A drop pass for him, and a shot is off his stick and up into the screen and out of play. And the face-off in the Leaf zone brought to you by Alpine Credits. You own your own home and need a loan, Alpine Credits can help. Get approved at alpinecredits.ca. Oh, can't use you? We got a commercial break. Really sorry about this.
I could
a little
always,
busy with the game.
Could always skip it.
No, I suppose. No. Then they'll take it off our pay. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 of the Maple Leaf.
There's a world where New Wave rolls. First Wave, where 80s era alternative and cult classics play 24/7.
I'll stop the world and melt with you. Let me go on, like I blister in the sun.
Get your New Wave fix on First Wave. Channel 33, or listen at home with SiriusXM on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, and other internet-connected devices and speakers.
NHL Morning Skate.
Frederik Andersen, #1 goaltender with the Canes. Congratulations on the contract extension.
Yeah, good organization. Got high standards, and I want to push for that championship every year. And we haven't gotten to the ultimate goal, but we've been knocking on the door, and that's the perfect situation. Being on a team that's got those aspirations.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellar. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Points with Boomer Gordon.
16 out of 32. If you know your math, that's 50%. In the last calendar year, Jake, 50% of the teams in the National Hockey League have made a coaching change. That is absolutely ridiculous. Either coaches in this league just suck. So they've been the scapegoats in this league for years and years and years, decades. It's an epidemic at this point.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Of Wall. Anthony Stolarz practicing. He can't be too far away from being available. But Wall was excellent the other night.
Yeah, he was outstanding. And barring something horrible, I think you got to ride him through this series.
Played out and down into Florida territory. Seth Jones taken to the boards with a hit there by Nyes, but out come the Panthers to center ice with Luosterainen sending it down into the Toronto end. Out of the net was Wall to play it back into the corner for Tanev. Tanev finds Marner circling back, and he starts up ice. Marner ahead for Matthews and over the line. Matthews got it into the slot area, but out of the reach of Nyes. Nyes on near boards, trying to free it up. Nyes still with it. Matthews back of the goal, but he can't get him the puck. Now Matthews joins the scrum in the corner, trying to lift it in along the boards. He gets it freed up. Centering pass goes to Marner. Marner back to the blue line. Fed it in there for Benoit. Benoit gets down into the corner, but is trapped down there, and the Panthers get it out at center. And now here's a break-in on the left wing with a chance, and it's run off the goalpost by Reinhart. Benoit pinched, and no one really backed it up. Now here's a chance for Bennett. Bennett with a shot, and that went wide. Bennett into the corner. Bennett getting it back to the point with a pass into the slot area, and it's off a stick and up into the screen. Off the stick of Carter Verhaeghe.
One of the things you don't like about this first period, Joe, is there have been these moments, these gaps, where the Leafs have looked nervous in their own zone. You saw Verhaeghe have the great opportunity, and then Sam Bennett right after that, where the Leafs kind of collapse and freeze. And the Florida Panthers very nearly able to take advantage of that. But you're right, Simon Benoit with the pinch, nobody backs him up. Part of the problem was the Leafs started to go for a line change, and nobody picked up on the fact that the defenseman was caught deep into the Florida zone.
Draw to the right in the Leaf zone is scrummed and kicked into the slot area, but Pacioretty is there. His pass was blocked, carried into the corner now by Lundell with a shot. That was stopped by Wall, and the rebound in the near corner. They were looking for Nylander breaking, and it didn't happen. And now Nylander steals. Nylander's got a breakaway. He's in a goal. Shoots on. A big save made there by Bobrovsky. Places on his feet. Willie had a great opportunity. How does he manage to have as many breakaways as he has?
Just a little disruption at the Leaf blue line, and the way he was knocking it away. But you thought Forsling was closing in, Joe, so not quite clean cut with lots of time.
Played ahead now by Florida to the red line. Shot in around back of the net. Out of the goal nicely there was Wall. He'll play it around the boards, but it's cut off by Greer. Centering pass knocked away by McMahon. Leafs trying to punch it out, and they do. Domi looking for McMahon on the left wing as Robertson trying to go to the net, and that goes around the boards on the far side. Greer trying to flip it out in center ice. Bouncing puck at the blue line. Punched back by the Leaf defense. Carried on by Florida in on the left wing. Greer into the corner with a shot from an angle that was stopped by the Maple Leafs. And now here is Robertson just making sure it gets out at center. And now the Panthers trying to send it right back in again. Seth Jones in on the wing and a shot. Big save made by goaltender Wall. Domi going to the bench. Did you see it, Jimmy?
Yeah, I think Bobby McMahon's stick when McMahon had the big hit in front of the Leaf bench. I think it was McMahon's stick came up and caught Max Domi. And as the Leafs seemed trying to recover, as Domi was stunned going to the Leaf bench, the Leafs were a man short in their own end, and fortunately Joseph Wall bails them out.
Face off in the Toronto zone to the right of Wall. Panthers with 5 shots, the Leafs with 2, including the breakaway effort by Willie Nylander.
Yeah, well, actually, no, it was Barkov's stick.
Shot from the blue line, blocked the rebound, is sent into the crowd. Taken by OEL to the far boards, and Marner is able to circle back of the net and then start out with it. Marner with a long lead pass out of the reach of Benoit, and Benoit trying to get there for an icing denial, but the linesman says no.
You can see the hash mark is the finish line. And, yeah, Seth Jones just had a step on Simon Benoit. Right idea, though, by Mitch Marner to throw it up that left wing boards and let Benoit step into it, or skate into it.
Draw to the left in the or to the right in the Toronto zone. Matthews against Bennett. The draw scrum to the far corner. Matthews got there first to send it around on the near wing, but it's kept in by Ekblad. Now the puck along the boards, and Nye's unable to get it. It comes to Ekblad in the slot, working in with a shot, blocked away nicely by Wall. Bennett in the far corner, trying to get it in front of the net. Overskating it there was Nyes, but bringing it out is Benoit, and he'll get a change of players started as it's cleared back into the Toronto end. Tucked into the corner, far side for Lorenz. Lorenz doesn't get it up the boards enough. It comes into the corner with a sharp angle shot that is caught by goaltender Joey Wall, and he will stop play to bring a face-off in the Toronto zone when we return. 9:19 to play, first period, no score. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy.
In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
The secret to my super strength? A mega calorie diet. And my super strong muscles are exactly what Ed and Kate needed. They wanted a backyard with a tiki bar. You know the vibes. They were approved for a home renovation loan. And I got these powerful hands dirty. Their backyard is now glorious.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium parking navigator, a basketball team transporter, a remote cottage finder, a beaver spotter, a coach hauler, bear country guide, a family road trip carrier, a muddy road controller, extreme wind stabilizer, plus a... And we're out of time. Subaru is the multi-tool that masters every unpredictable weather condition. Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
Oh. Face-off coming in the Toronto zone. 9:19 to play. First period, no score.
We'll give a special shout-out to long-time friend of both ours, Lisa Hillary.
Yes.
Is listing in Calgary. She's worked in Anaheim, Boston, Philadelphia, here in Toronto.
Wish we did.
Yes. One of the all-time greats.
Yep, absolutely. Draw to the right of Joseph Wall. David Camp into the lineup along with Robertson. Holmberg and Yarncrook are scratched this evening. And now Camp is waved out of the face-off circle.
It's good to have two centermen on the line, though, isn't it?
Yep. Scott Lawton will take the draw, and he wins it cleanly. Riley sends it up the middle looking for Lorenz, but it goes off a stick and down into Florida territory. Punched around the boards, it'll come out on the far wing, and out come the Panthers through center ice and into the Leaf zone. Trying to get a drop pass, a shot is swallowed up by Wall. And then Lundell is given a jolt. Oh, and there's Marchand trying to have a word with Scott Lawton, but he thinks better of that.
Scotty Lawton gave him a couple of cross checks. You got to be careful. This isn't what you want to engage in, which is getting sucked into these scrums.
On the linesman got an arm around Marchand. That's nice.
He's going to be okay.
He's going to be okay. I hope his feelings aren't hurt. He's going to the bench. Looks like he's all right.
Poor little fella.
It was. Uncalled for.
Boy, shots on goal now 8-2 favoring the Florida Panthers. I think you were hoping for a start like the Leafs had in game one.
Face off to the right of Wall. Matthews lost the draw, and a wrist shot went wide of the Leaf goal. Tanev taken to the boards, back of the net by Boqvist. That struggle carries on as it was into the corner, and McCabe trying to get there ahead of his man, had it tied up, and the Leafs get it freed up, but don't get it out. Punched ahead to the line, but not out. Kept alive by Florida to the far corner now for Reinhart. Back to the point, shot coming, and it was wide. Rebound into the near boards, back to the blue line for Mikkola. His shot deflects wide of the Leaf net. But the Leafs are playing too much in their own end. Boqvist centers, and it's intercepted, and the Leafs are going to get it out, and Nyes chips it into the left wing corner and tries to get in there to get a forecheck started. Got his man to the boards, but there was no support as the Leafs were in the midst of a change. When you play as much in your own end, when you finally do get it up there, sometimes it's just to get a change of players. Now we've got Tavares down into the offensive zone as it goes off his skate. A good hit there by Pacioretty, knocked down one of the Panthers, and they get it again. Tavares in across the line, and it's knocked out at center ice again by Florida. Nylander can't get to it ahead of Bennett. A shot off the glove of Wall, and it's grabbed off by the Maple Leafs, and now Tavares plays it up on the right wing for Morgan Riley. Riley, a rink-wide pass looking for Pacioretty, but it was knocked away. Panthers get it back. Bennett gets it ahead, knocked away by Max Domi. Odd man rush for the Leafs. Domi in on the right side, centers! the shot taken by Pacioretty. Was kicked away. Back to the point. A one-timer just goes wide. And the rebound into the near corner. Panthers stretch things out. They're changing. Leafs are doing likewise. 7-17 and a scoreless first. Left to play. Played down into the corner, and Carlo takes his man heavily into the boards. Puck around the wall to the near side. Defense partner can't get to it, McCabe, but now it has launched off a stick to center, and it is the Panthers trying to bring it back in, only to have it knocked back into neutral ice. Robertson couldn't come up with it. Played down in on goal. Tucked back to the net then by Wall. Leafs having difficulties getting it freed up, but they get it to McCabe. McCabe with a quick pass, and out comes David Camp with speed. Camp hitting the line and dropping it off for Robertson. Back in for Camp. He's got a man in front of the goal. Benoit! Shot it wide! Oh, what a chance that was! Holy Mackinac! Right back into the Toronto end. Camp. Round back of the goal. Up the middle it goes. Lorenz couldn't break. Back come the Panthers in on the right side with Marchand. Roll to the boards. Back to the point. Jones a shot. And that goes high and wide. Jones with it again at the right point. Jones working into the slot with a shot. Whoa, the save. Traffic in front. Much better shift for the Maple Leafs.
Well, Simon Benoit, great chance at one end and then a big hit on Brad Marchand at the other. I don't know how you missed the net on this. Sergei Bobrovsky came out and challenged.
Oh, he missed it by 4 or 5 feet.
Jeez.
I believe that is a defensive defenseman.
Yeah. Does have an overtime winner. Actually, both Leaf overtime wins. Simon Benoit played a big part in both. Goal and an assist in the Ottawa series. Leafs being outshot 10-3 here in the opening period with 6:03 to go. Yeah, the Leafs probably have had the better clear-cut chances. Nylander
in that one, yep. Played around the boards, but Mikkola gets there ahead of Nyes. Riley comes out of the corner to get it ahead off of Nyes down into Florida territory. Jones going around back of the net. Marner after him, knocked the puck off his stick, couldn't get it in front. Matthews unable to reach it. Kept in by Brandon Carlo, but now the Panthers have it clear and a pass up on the left wing. Here's Greer with a shot, blockered away, big bouncing puck in front of the goal. Another save made by Wall, and another save made by Joey Wall. The puck in the Toronto zone. Stolen back, centering pass, blocked, centered again, blocked. Another pass in front, shot, scores.
Matter of time. The Leafs just kept chopping the puck back and forth, and eventually it ends up on the stick of Aaron Ekblad, who snaps it from the right hash marks over the right shoulder of Joseph Wall. And really, this has been the first period, Joe. The Leafs have had these stretches. They've got full control of the puck and can't get it out. And Florida Panthers, for the third time in this series, open the scoring.
Let's see.
Yes,
third time.
2-5 and 2-4 and 5. But the Leafs just 3 shots on goal, and Sergei Bobrovsky's not been tested. The chances they've had really haven't resulted in forcing him to make big saves.
Played down into the Toronto zone. Benoit off a stick, but this is going to be icing. Tavares giving chase, but he's not going to get there. 5:07 to play in the first period. Ekblad's second goal of this postseason. And the Leafs being outshot 13-3. With the best scoring chance that they had is a missed shot. Tavares leans in. Draw one by the Panthers. Tkachuk takes it to the boards. Run off the disc there by Nylander. Punched out at center ice. Nylander breaking in on the right side with a shot. Oh, and a juicy rebound off of Bobrovsky, but no one could get a stick on it. Now Bennett, the other way for Florida, trying to send a shot to the front of the net. It bounces in front, and the pass comes out to Nylander again. Willie can't get in over the line. He's going to be offside if he touches it. But another break by Nylander on the right wing side, and the Florida Panthers really don't have an answer for him. He has been open a lot in the early going. It is still 1-0 Florida, though. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050.
Find out who will lift the FA Cup trophy this weekend on SiriusXM FC. Crystal Palace are 90 minutes away from their first FA Cup title.
Eze into the area, right-footed shot, slams it
In their path is a dangerous Manchester City side keen on salvaging their season.
Oh, Kevin De Bruyne, that is simply sensational.
It's the FA Cup final, Palace versus City, Saturday at 11:30 Eastern on SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Frederik Andersen, number one goaltender with the Canes. Congratulations on the contract extensions.
Yeah, good organization. I've got high standards, and I want to push for that championship every year. And we haven't gotten to the ultimate goal, but we've been knocking on the door, and that's the perfect situation. Being on a team that's got those aspirations.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellar. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Points with Boomer Gordon.
16 out of 32. If you know your math, that's 50%. In the last calendar year, Jake, 50% of the teams in the National Hockey League have made a coaching change. That is absolutely ridiculous. Either coaches in this league just suck. So they've been the scapegoats in this league for years and years and years, decades. It's an epidemic at this point.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favourite team.
Face-off outside the Florida blue line. 1-0 Panthers. A goal by Ekblad from Reinhart and Boqvist on a scramble around Wall, who made about 3 saves before the puck was in the net. And the Leafs could not clear.
It was the Matthews line, so.
Shot in on Wall. He's going to cover up on that.
So, I mean, we always want to say, well, it's their 200-foot game and everything else. Well, you better start scoring now to even up for being on for a goal against. It was 14-4 with 4:33 to go here in the first period.
Draw to the right of Wall in the Toronto zone.
It's the same thing, a lot of what we saw in Florida. It's just the Leafs' inability to make plays to get it out of their own end. And part of that is the Florida forecheck.
Draw to the right of Wall. Domi taking the face off. Everybody moves early. Domi gives Lundell a bit of a slash. They'll try it all over again. Or did it? No, they won't. Domi's been waved out. Robertson moving in. And Robertson won the draw cleanly. Tanev gets it back of the net. Punched around the boards by Robertson. It comes off the wing, and now Robertson starts out with it with a pass. It hit a skate. And now off the skate, it comes to center ice anyway. Now Domi sending it in as the Leafs are changing. 4:14 to play in the first period. 1-0 Panthers. And the shutout streak of Sergei Bobrovsky continues.
They'll go back to the Morgan Riley goal midway through the third period of Game 3.
So the shutout streak is still in effect as it's cleared out into the center ice area, as it is 1-0, and Bobrovsky is pitching a shutout. Okay, I've done what I can. Shot right back down into the Toronto zone. Chipped out at center ice by Oliver Ekman-Larsson, then followed up as it comes to Camp. Camp trying to drop it back, had it hit a skate, and it comes to center ice. Now Benoit flipping it into the left wing corner. Hustling after it is Nico Mikkola around the boards, played out into the center ice area. Leafs are there to intercept, and Riley giving it back to Brandon Carlo, who will return it to Riley. Riley gets it to Nylander. Nylander through center. Nylander pushing it in over the line, trying to get around the defenseman Seth Jones into the corner, trying to add a little punishment there was Pacioretty, but missed, and it shot down into the Toronto end. Chopped along the boards and into the corner. It goes back of the net to the near side. Max Pacioretty is there. He's gingerly, a little too gingerly, and now in fact it's rolling on edge. gone the length of the rink for an icing. And back into the Toronto zone with 2:56 to go in the period. Coming in the circle to the right of goaltender Joseph Wall.
So over 90 minutes between goals for the Leafs, or 90 minutes since their last goal.
So that's the shutout streak?
Yes.
Okay. Draw to the right of Wall. Tavares won this cleanly. Back to the net, Morgan Riley, but he mishandles the puck, and the Panthers get it back to the blue line. Wrist shot coming, blockered away nicely by Wall. Into the corners for Hagee with it, though. Now for Bennett. Bennett centering pass, his skate. Tavares able to come away with it, and he skates it out at center. Tavares trying to send it in over the line is interfered with there by Forsling and knocked down. Brought back by the Panthers, and Bennett's going to shoot it in. Wall out of the cage. Playing it around the boards, but he gives the puck away, and a pass there by Tkachuk hit a stick, and it goes around back of the net. Wall got the stick tangled up there with Bennett, which is rather beneficial, as the Leafs are going to get it now and flip it into Florida territory. Matthews back of the net. Matthews trying to one-hand it in front for Marner. That was blocked, kept alive here by McCabe. McCabe backhands in back of the net for Matthews. Far corner, Matthews double-teamed in there. Nyes trying to help out. The puck comes into the near corner, and Seth Jones will get it ahead at center, where it is shot again into the Toronto zone. Nothing fancy about the Panthers attack. They get it to the red line, and they get it into the zone, and a penalty coming here for tripping.
And I think this is a gift to the Leafs. To me, this is just playing the puck. But I believe it is Anton Lundell that is going to go. I think he's just playing the puck.
Kelly Sutherland and Eric Furlot are the referees. And Jesse Marquis and Keel Murchison are the linesmen. This is a Sutherland call.
Number 15, 2 minutes for tripping.
Yeah, Anton Lundell is going to go. But to me, I mean, this is it's between Mitch Marner's skates. But Marner kind of clicks his heels together to click it forward, and Lundell's stick is there, but the Leafs better take advantage of it.
Power play brought to you by Subaru. Hurry to the all-in-one event for great offers and experience all the features that come standard in a Subaru.
You think that was a little bit weak?
No, I was fine with it. I'm good. Face off to the right of Bobrovsky. With all of the stuff that has been let go.
Oh, yeah.
Tavares will take the face-off, scrums it, kicks it in front of the net. It goes back to the blue line. Matthews with a pass in front, looking for Nyes, and it was knocked away and cleared back into the Toronto zone. Marner goes back to settle it down. Matthews will swing in behind him. Marner looking back for Matthews and now has it, and Nylander is with him. Matthews to the line and in on the right side for Tavares. Tavares on the half boards, gets it back to the blue line to Marner. Marner saucers it back to Tavares. Tavares challenged in a hurry, got it to Matthews, and a centering pass was a bad one. It was a blind one, and the Panthers intercept, and it is Reinhart getting in over the line, but Nylander's back checking took it away from him.
Boy, Florida just goes right after the Leafs on the penalty kill.
They really are very aggressive. Matthews to center. Drops for Domi, who hits the line on the wing for Nyes. Back for Domi and around the boards. It'll go to Tavares. Tavares trying to pin the boards, but that brings a crowd in there. The puck comes back to the blue line. Marner shot right. Rebound! Oh, and a great set made by Bobrovsky on Nyes. Nyes back of the net. Nyes trying to come out in front. Paddle down play made by Bobrovsky. Tavares gets it back to the point to Marner. Marner to the near side for Domi. Back it goes to Marner, stretching it out. Now to Max. Max now to Matthews. Matthews in the slot, back to Max, but the puck goes into the corner. Panthers on it quickly. Leafs trying to dig it free, and they do. It goes wide into the far corner, though, and is played, but it hits the referee. Kept alive for Toronto, but it comes off the boards, and Nosek will send it out and down the ice. 6 seconds left in the period. Play it around the boards as Marchand tries to get a last-second hit in on Morgan Riley. And I think Wall said something to Marchand that spun him around as if he was going to do something. On the line, Spitzkop Marchand got his arm around his neck again. I mean, can we just let him get along?
When Matthew Nyes, Joe, on a shot that missed the net glove side on Bobrovsky, came back off the backboards, right out to the near post, and Matthew Nyes just could not beat Bobrovsky's left pad getting back to the post, so the Leafs would have tied it. As it turned out, it was not a very impressive power play for Toronto.
So a 1-0 lead at the end of one for the Florida Panthers as Ekblad gets the goal. The Windsor native at 14:38. We'll step aside. Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart take you through our first period intermission. The Leafs trailing 1-0. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 in the main.
Stay plugged in to the pulse of pop culture on the SiriusXM app. From exclusive interviews with today's biggest celebrities.
Demi Moore.
That's Lizzo.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Snoop Dogg.
You know how much I love you, Andy.
Unfiltered takes on what's trending from hosts like Alex Cooper and Andy Cohen.
What is up, Daddy Gang?
Hey, everybody. We are live.
Plus, daily reality TV recaps, star-studded podcasts, and more.
Salma Hayek. Only Kelly Ripa can ask me these questions.
Keep up with all the latest entertainment buzz in one place. Just search pop culture in the SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Frederik Andersen, #1 goaltender with the Canes. Congratulations on the contract extensions.
Yeah, good organization. I got high standards, and I want to push for that championship every year. And we haven't gotten to the ultimate goal, but we've been knocking on the door, and that's the perfect situation. Being on a team that's got those aspirations.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellar. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
16 out of 32. If you know your math, that's 50%. In the last calendar year, Jake, 50% of the teams in the National Hockey League have made a coaching change. That is absolutely ridiculous. Either coaches in this league just suck. They've been the scapegoats in this league for years and years and years, decades. It's an epidemic at this point.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it!
Under Review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
No one brings you the passion of the beautiful game quite like SiriusXM FC.
Would you believe this?
Whether it's live matches from the EPL, MLS, the NWSL, or the UEFA Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio puts you on the ice.
If you're trying to describe what playoff hockey is,
well, the ebbs and the flows, the momentum changes, the willingness to sacrifice whatever it takes, whether it's blocking a shot with your face, every opportunity matters. You know, we learn an awful lot about ourselves in the playoffs and how you rise to the challenge and are willing to do whatever it takes for the team to be successful.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Panthers cruise here.
And then
He's in. Nylander with a shot. He scores!
there were 8.
Draisaitl to McDavid, down the right wing, to the net. Score!
With the first round behind us, the battles only get more intense.
The whole way by Duhaime. Oh, Wilson!
Along the goal line to the front of the net, it's loose. Kachuk with it, a shot, and he scores!
The Stanley Cup playoffs continue.
Follow your favorite team, NHL Network Radio,
SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
And it is Florida 1-0 over the Leafs after 20 minutes of play. TSN After 20 brought to you by Subaru. Hurry to the all-in-one event for great offers and experience all the features that come standard in a Subaru. Jim Taddy and former NHLer Anthony Stewart with you, Stu. I got to tell you, 1-0, that's flattering.
Yeah, and again, I do my best to try to be as optimistic as possible, right? But down, tied 2-2 in the series with 2 games that you lost on the road coming back to home, I expected a little bit of a more energetic start, right? The crowd was tremendous, loud. You saw the rally towels, right? They were loud on the breakaway by William Nylander. If that would have went in, the roof would have came off. But just the pressure that Florida's putting, they're almost outclassing them with regards to, the in-zone play. Toronto's doing a lot of one-and-done plays. Take a look at Florida. When they're in the corners or they're in the zone, there's 1, 2, 3 guys surrounding the puck, as opposed to Toronto on the other end, a lot of one-and-done plays. So you're not going to hope your way back into this game. You have to have a little bit more structure. You have to have more of a game plan. And through 20 minutes, it seems like Florida stuck to theirs, where Toronto on the other end of the puck, they just seemed like they were a little bit, discombobulated and not really sure, how to respond to the attack that Florida's bringing.
So if you were in the sales business, you would have 1,000 leads and get a couple of deals. If you had a couple of calls, you'd have no deals. So what I'm saying is, shots attempts. Panthers got 14 through it, another 19 that didn't. So that's let's do some math here. 33 attempts, right? The Leafs had 5 that got through and 5 that didn't. So that's 10 attempts. That's a discrepancy.
It is, and Florida, again, they're a team that just sort of wears you down. They come in, they attack. It's that Joe Frazier type attack. They just keep going forward, but it comes down to just the will. They are willing their way into the D zone of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they're just sort of having their way, in the corners and getting pucks on net. So, we talked about it. If you're having trouble scoring on Bobrovsky, it has to be volume. You're not gonna win this game, 3-2 with 18 shots on net. You're gonna have to get 26, 27, 30. So the one positive is Florida is showing that they are human. Nylander had the breakaway. That could have made it 1-0. Yep. Kampf made a beautiful pass to a trailing Benoit coming in back door. That could have went in as well. And then on the power play, where they still have 17 seconds left, Nyes almost had a tap in as there as well too. So it's not like they're getting their chances. But when you're struggling to score goals or you're struggling to create opportunities in the O-zone, you got to go the volume approach. You got to just put everything on net. I think one of the first shots on net for Toronto, they threw it into Bobrovsky's glove and he fumbled it. Yeah. Right. So. But I'll tell you, Florida, they're battle tested. They're a team that's been to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 times in a row for a reason. This team plays the game the right way, and it's tough. So we'll see how they respond. But through the first 20 minutes, that effort for me, I just think wasn't there. But again, the one positive is there's still 40 minutes, and they're 1 shot away from getting back into this game. But we've said that how many times this series?
This is in that term of analysis. This is a replay of Game 4 without the penalties and the power play goal, with the 5-on-5 goal. And let's go to that 5-on-5 goal. The Ekblad goal is the result of at least 4 really good scoring chances prior to the goal going in, all on the same play.
Yeah, and Toronto sort of run their defensive structure. They just sort of shrink. But there was 4 or 5 guys around that puck and 2-3 rebounds, right? And Woll made 2 great saves, one on Boquist, and I'm not too sure who the other one was on, but there was 2-3 saves where those went in the net. You probably couldn't fault them. And then ultimately it pops up to Ekblad, who roofs it, right? So, when things aren't going offensively, you have to find a way to fundamentally be better in your D zone. And there was 2-3 guys puck watching on that point. And I think now with Toronto, what their plan is, they want to blow the zone. So when they're blowing the zone, you're sort of on your toes a little bit and cheating a little bit in the D zone. They got caught cheating on there because they were trying to maybe get up on the offensive zone of the puck. So I think for them, details, it starts with defense, getting the pucks out, getting the pucks in deep. The only one I seen chip and chase and charge in that period probably was either Pacioretty and Nyes. Yeah. But again, they can't do it by themselves. They need to come in with numbers and take that volume approach for this final 40.
Well, and that's the result of a sort of a stranglehold in their own zone. So how do you chip past that? I mean, you've got to somehow break through. They did get a breakaway, so it does happen.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird. They are chipping, and Florida's making them take the scenic route. And almost, they could have easily, I think, got 2 interference penalties. If that's a regular season, I know there's a little bit of a different standard come playoffs, but what's going on? They're stretching out on the breakout passes, and it's going to one of the players on the flanks, and they're isolated, where you got to start supporting the puck. So if you're going to be blowing the zone to the left winger, right winger, you got to start cheating and supporting the puck so you can chip into him, into supporting that. But there's just one guy isolated. It's 1-on-2, 1-on-3. And Florida, they're just too big, they're too long, they're too strong, and they have numbers. So it's a 1-on-2, 1-on-3 plays. You're not going to beat them that way too. So a little bit more puck support, a little bit more puck pressure, and I'm sure that's what Berube is telling the troops right now during this intermission.
And the best tonic for this is a goal, isn't it?
the body armor sports drink, I guess. I don't.
Well, you need something to build on.
Right? I don't know.
Because it goes like this.
We saw Lawton sort of get involved with, with Marchand and those extracurriculars there. I'm not sure if that's what it is. I think you just got to crush the net, draw some penalties, and hopefully the power play gets you back in. But that's Florida. They put you to sleep almost. It's a death by 1,000 cuts. They just there's no space out there. There's no space, and you're seeing a guy like Jones who's rejuvenating his career. He's twisting, turning. He's a breakout machine as well too. It's a very, very solid team, very well coached, and you got to give Florida Panthers credit. It's not much what Toronto's not doing. It's what Florida's just doing whatever they want out there and having their way so far.
Well, and that is the issue, because they did that in Game 4, and it's continuing on here. So they have to come up with a solution rather fast, don't they?
Yes, and I don't know. Maybe it's watching a Nathan McKinnon highlight. Maybe it's watching, McDavid and Draisaitl and sort of the big moments now. This is where some of the big guys got to step up. So I'm holding my breath. I'm staying optimistic. But I'm not saying time is running out. But I expect a little bit more. I expect a little bit more from some of the go-to guys, especially in this second period.
There's a long line that would support you with that analysis. Florida leads at 1-0 over the Leafs after 20 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
At Canada's Wonderland, we're serious about our guests having fun. Seriously. Just listen to our park opening sale. Buy a 2025 Silver Pass for only $89 and get unlimited visits through Labor Day. Unlimited upside-down loops, unlimited ice cream cone licks, unlimited super spinny swings. Told you we were serious. New this summer, brave the elements with Alpenfury, Canada's first and fiercest launch coaster. Save $10 when you get your 2025 Silver Pass online at canadaswonderland.com. Plus processing fees up to $9.99 and applicable taxes.
Thanks to IKEA, my bedroom feels extra sleepy. These new blackout curtains keep it extra dark, and my new duvet keeps me extra cozy. But it also made my nighttime extra boring, because the monster under my bed is sleeping better too. Hey, buddy, wake up. Hey.
Don't scare me like that. What are you trying to do to me? Jeez.
Visit IKEA today and start sleeping better tomorrow with everything you need for the bedroom of your dreams.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium parking navigator, a basketball team transporter, a remote cottage finder, a beaver spotter, a coach hauler, bear country guide, a family road trip carrier, a muddy road controller, extreme wind stabilizer, plus a... And we're out of time. Subaru is the multi-tool that masters every unpredictable weather condition. Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
People often ask me how fast I am. Oh, 1 sec. I just went to Bali and back. I'm also fast when it comes to helping people. Like when I helped Bill. His company vehicles were being serviced, and I was able to help him with a business loan. He got the transport trucks they needed, and I got to honk the horn. All of them.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Your sneakers are staring directly at you. You try to look away, but you can't. You're laced to face. They're saying, Rome wasn't built in a day, and your six-pack won't be either. But you've got to start somewhere. Stop staring. Put us on. Take that first step, or lunge, or squat. Start small. Start somewhere. Join for $7.99 every 2 weeks at fitforless.ca and experience fitness simplified. Some conditions apply. Fit for Less. Everybody happy.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. You don't have to go to town for a great new Tundra RAV4 gas or hybrid. Maple Toyota has them in stock and ready to deliver. Visit mapletoyota.com. One of the game tonight, Edmonton and Vegas. Puck drop around 9:30. Oilers in the driver's seat there. In our game, 1-0 for the Panthers. over the Leafs after 20 minutes of play. Ekblad with the goal from Reinhart, and Boquist, who is in the lineup tonight because Rodriguez is not. And the Leafs have 17 seconds left on the power play to start the second period on fresh ice. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
The drama builds. Baseball's in full swing. This ball's gone! Hear every MLB game on Sirius XM.
And they'll be talking about this one for a long, long time.
Listen to your favorite team all season long with your hometown announcers on the Sirius XM app.
A breathtaking home run by Aaron Judge.
For a complete MLB schedule, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
What a night!
NHL Morning Skate.
Frederick Anderson, number one goaltender with the Canes. Congratulations on the contract extensions.
Yeah, good organization that have high standards, and I want to push for that championship every year. And we haven't gotten to the ultimate goal, but we've been knocking on the door, and that's the perfect situation. Being on a team that's got those aspirations.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellar. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
16 out of 32. If you know your math, that's 50%. In the last calendar year, Jake, 50% of the teams in the National Hockey League have made a coaching change. That is absolutely ridiculous. Either coaches in this league just suck. They've been the scapegoats in this league for years and years and years, decades. It's an epidemic at this point.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
No one brings you the passion of the beautiful game quite like SiriusXM FC.
Would you believe this?
Whether it's live matches from the EPL, MLS, the NWSL, or the UEFA Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Teams are coming back onto the ice. We're getting set for the start of the second period. Florida Panthers on a goal by Aaron Ekblad from Reinhart and Boquist at 14:38 have a 1-0 lead after outshooting the Leafs 14-5 in the first period. Sergei Bobrovsky has gone 89 minutes and 4 seconds of shutout hockey against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Did you figure that out?
I did all on my own.
Because I had 93-37. Did you count overtime?
Oh, no, I didn't. Darn! I forgot to. Yeah, all right. You're right.
What? No,
you're right.
I don't know if I'm right.
No, you are right.
But I did try to count overtime.
All right. Well, I didn't know. Darn.
93-37 is what I've got.
Well, then I'm going to correct 93-37.
Check it yourself.
I know. I just feel awful. Well, not really. Mathematics to me are two strangers in the night.
Worst thing for me is I did it, and I just didn't use it.
Oh.
Well, it kept changing as the time went on.
It does.
Yes.
Yeah. Leafs to the left. And the puck is dropped, and we're underway to start the second period. Shot down into the Toronto zone. Wall will leave it back of the net. Riley stops up there, gets it up on the left wing, and Matthews finds Marner on the right wing side. He tries to flip it in along the boards and carries back. Made a spinning move, but it was knocked off his stick into center ice and played off on the right wing side for Sam Reinhart. He's going to send it around for Lundell on the left wing side. Oliver Ekman-Larsson got there. The puck up on the far boards, but the Leafs don't get it out. Lundell with it again, a centering pass, coming back towards the blue line. And Nylander just failed to reach it as it's played ahead now and brought in by David Kemp. Kemp for Nylander on the wing, and a shot went high and blockered away there by Bobrovsky. Centering pass, a shot at the goal post. Oh my what a chance that was!
That was David Camp, I believe, Joe.
Played down into the Florida zone. Out of the net was Bobrovsky. Played out into the center ice area. And it is Tkachuk sending it into the near corner. Carlo knocked it away from an intended receiver, and now Lorenz looks up ice and finds his man in Benoit. Will get to the line and shoot it in around the boards. Lorenz to the near side, able to knock it back behind the net. But Schmidt is there, and he will get it up on the wing, and the Panthers get it off a stick down in on goal, and it'll be scooped into the corner. And now Carlo with a pass off the stick of Robertson doesn't get in. Shot right back down into the Toronto zone. Benoit trying to get to it. No, never mind. It's a delayed offside. Whistle down. I didn't hear the whistle.
Oh, by the way, it was. I thought it was David Camp. It was Scott Lawton who had the opportunity. 24, not 64. And very similar to how the Leafs scored, or the Florida Panthers scored, where the Leafs were kind of chopping it up in their own end. Florida having trouble controlling the puck, and it was moved out to the left wing circle to Lawton, and he hit that square on.
Right on. Face off to the right of Bobrovsky. Jimmy's just working on the shutout streak even as we speak. Time changes though, so we got to give him a little time. Brought in around the boards and played up on the wing and out at center ice. Oliver Ekman-Larsson at his own blue line. I, of course, am far too busy trying to do play-by-play to worry about such things. Played back around the boards to the far side. Riley backhands into the corner. Nylander coming out of the corner, reverses his field, centering, and it went right by Pacioretty. And it's brought out at center ice now by Carter Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe to the far side, and a shot, and that's wide of the goal. Nylander had hoped for a better rebound, but now comes out with it with a pass ahead for Tavares. Back for Willie, shooting, big rebound in front, knocked wide by Tavares. Tavares with the puck in the corner, tried to center. That was blocked. Back of the net, McMahon is in pursuit. Luosterainen plays it high to center ice. It bounds over the stick of Tanev. Tanev is able to get back and play it to his defense partner, but it gets by him. Nosek on the far side, and the Leafs are chopping it out at center ice. Panthers, who defend the goal to the right here in the second period, lead it 1-0. Ekblad, the goal scorer, sending it in on a bounce off the corner boards. It came right to the side of the net. And Joey Wall puts the glove on it.
Good thing Wall did not start him on the net. Joe to try to play that. That might have been on sharp enough an angle that it would have gone in. He just hugged the post and was fortunate when it clanked off almost right above the line, which marks the goal line in the corner to his left, and skipped back out into the blue paint.
Face off to the left of Wall. And the draw won by Toronto. Except that the linesman says it wasn't done fairly, so we're going to do it all over again. Sure, what the problem with that was Kyle Murchison talking with Matthews about whatever it was. They'll try it again. And this time the Panthers win the draw. Back to the point, Ekblad, a shot in traffic, deflects to the side of the goal. Knocked into the corner now for McCabe and Tanev. Tanev taken to the wall, trying to get some help there from Matthews, and he does. Matthews plays it back, and now here's McCabe with it, trying to get it ahead for Marner, but it's cut off by Boqvist. Back of the net, Tanev after it again, far side, Boqvist again for the Panthers, got it back to the point. Ekblad got away from one check, steps in with a shot. That was knocked away in front of the net. Panthers again with their forechecking game. Near side, and a wrist shot taken by Reinhart went wide. Ekblad is able to keep it in. It comes around the boards to the near wing again. Good hit there by Tanev to pin his man to the boards, but the Leafs are in there with bodies trying to dig it out. Back of the net it goes for Sam Bennett. Bennett coming out of the far corner with it. Bennett with a shot into the near corner. Trapped there, another shot is gloved by Wall, and he's going to stop play with a face-off coming in the Toronto zone.
One of the things that has hurt the Leafs, Joe, that anytime they try to make a pass in the defensive zone, it's to somebody standing still. And then right away are swarmed by the Panthers. Now, you're not asking guys to blow the zone early, but it seems like every pass is to somebody that's flat-footed.
Flat-footed or covered.
Yeah.
Face-off to the right of Wall. Bennett facing off with David Kemp. And again, I don't understand. They drop the puck and Kemp wins the face-off cleanly, and then all of a sudden it's whistled down. They're going to try this again. And again, this time, the Panthers win the draw, and a shot is swallowed up by Wall.
I think what happened, looking at a quick replay of that, Joe, the defending player's got to keep his stick straight towards the opposing player. Like not on an angle, you got to have it straight. And David Kemp cheated both times.
Trying to pull it back.
To try to draw it back. Try to time it. Well, what he's trying to do is time it perfectly for the puck drop. And it's like an early start in a track race.
Face off in the circle to the right of Wall. And Bennett, this time, I think Bennett's being waved out. And Verhaeghe will move in.
Quite an apology for the linesman. Put his hand on his shoulder and say, look,
really sorry about this, but. And the draw won by Florida again. Off on the wing for Tkachuk, a centering pass, and a shot blocked. The rebound clears to the line, but not out. Kept into the corner and in by Bennett. Along the boards near side, Tkachuk got it ahead. The Leafs trying to get it ahead, and now it is brought out at center by Scotty Lawton. Lawton to the line and in. Lawton stick handling with it, and then Bennett tackles Lawton in the corner.
Interesting to see if anything comes of this. Lawton may have gone down a little early, Joe, trying to draw the penalty. But still, it was well after the whistle that Bennett came in and took a shot at the Leaf forward.
I thought he had full control of the puck at the blue line, but they're saying he put himself offside, didn't they? Well, maybe it was knocked off his stick just a bit, but that was kind of a strange offside. Face off outside the Florida blue line. .53 to play here in period number 2, and the Leafs trailing 1-0. Boy, someone is getting waved out every face-off by a linesman. This time it's Lundell. Tavares will take the draw for Toronto against Verhaeghe. Luosterainen. And the Panthers win this face-off again. And it's shot in again into the Toronto zone. Down the boards far side for Pacioretty. Pacioretty trying to play it in front of his own goal to an open man. That didn't work. And now he's able to play it out at center. Nylander skating hard after it. Can't get to it in time. Gadjevich sends it around the boards to center. Leafs bring it right back in again with Tavares. Makes a move to get it into the corner. Tavares tried to center. That was blocked. Nylander back of the net. Pacioretty sending it back to the blue line. Trapped there on the backhand by OEL, who gets it down along the boards. Now a pass back into the slot to Riley to OEL. And the drill is into the chest of Bobrovsky. The Leafs, they tried, but they didn't get anybody to take the eyes away from the Florida netminder. And so a long point shot is drilled right into the crest.
Yeah, Pacioretty was trying to get there and was tied up with the Florida defenseman. John Tavares got there a little late. Tavares maybe the best. Well, Pacioretty's pretty good with the deflections as well.
Leafs out shooting Florida 4-3 here in the second period. The only goal, Ekblad from Reinhart and Boqvist. Draw to the right of goaltender Sergei Bobrovsky. And the Leafs need a goal to get this crowd roaring again. Matthews.
How many face-offs?
Every one.
Every face-off.
No, just every one.
Yeah.
And another
a little ridiculous, isn't it?
Person waved out. Here we go again. Matthews wins it cleanly. Back to the blue line. It'll come to Tanev. Tanev down along the boards for Matthews, around back of the net, trying to come out in front. And it rolled off his stick before he could deliver a backhand. Played off the boards now for McCabe, and Tanev back in the Toronto zone. McCabe will start out with a lead pass deflected by Nyes into the zone. Matthews goes in after it, trying to get an angle on Seth Jones. It doesn't materialize. Marner got the puck free. Nyes getting it back to the point. Tanev to McCabe. McCabe with a wrist shot. Again, no traffic. and an easy scoop by Bobrovsky, but the Leafs are getting a little more zone time and a little more puck possession and more traffic, more attempts to the net. They need more traffic to the net.
Yeah, didn't have a lot of that in the opening period. I think they've readjusted the shots to 6 for the Leafs in the first. They've got 4 here in period number 2.
Oh, sure. So I was wrong again.
Well,
I didn't count the overtime on the shutout streak. Now I got your thoughts on goal. Well, of course, you're in charge of that.
That's my job.
I know. Draw to the right of Bobrovsky. Into the corner it goes. Pounded around the wall to the left wing side, and it is Greer getting it to the Toronto blue line, but no further. Nosek against the boards. Greer shoots it into the Toronto zone. Riley in the far corner. Took a hit. The puck comes to the side of the net, and it'll be covered up there by Joey Wall, and we get some shoving as Oliver Ekman-Larsson gets pushed on the bench, and then Larsson threw a little bit of a left jab at Greer that looked like George Foreman taking a shot from Muhammad Ali. I thought he was going to go down.
Yeah, so they've let the extracurricular stuff go here so far in the second period. The Bennett hit that was late on Scotty Lott, and now Oliver Ekman-Larsson got a freebie. I mean, it wasn't much, although Greer tried to sell it. Looked like the video game boxer snapping his head back in slow motion. Not that I do that kind of stuff.
No.
I have a life.
You do?
It's just a baseball and hockey game.
Oh. Played off the boards by the Leafs, but cut off at the point by Kulikov. He sends it in along the wall. It'll go back of the net. Benoit chipping it along for Carlo, and the Leafs get it out at center ice. Played right back into the neutral zone and to the Leaf blue line, and shot a high stick, making contact with it. As missing a hit there was Verhaeghe. It comes through the goal crease area to the near boards, back to the point. A shot on the far side, scores! This time it is Dmitry Kulikov finding the back of the net on a, I think that was deflected, wasn't it?
Yeah, Scott Lott right off his stick and roofed up over the left shoulder. But Joe, again, it all starts the Leafs' inability to get the puck out of their own end. Florida's just dumping it in and going in and controlling it. And on a 19th shot, it's 2-0, and it's, there's another one where the Leafs have control of the puck on the far boards, then try to force it somewhere through bodies, and eventually, you can call it a fortunate bounce, but the more time you spend in the offensive zone, your odds of getting the bounce is going to go up.
Kulikov with his first goal of this postseason, and a 1-0 lead is now a lot bigger as it is 2-0. Panthers keep the puck into the Leaf zone. A shot backhanded, stopped by Wall. Rebound around back of the net. Marchand couldn't get to it. Back to the point. Here's another chance for Forsling. A shot that was just off the mark. The wraparound attempt and a big hit there, and the Leafs get it ahead for Nylander. Nylander breaking in. Nylander driving the net with a one-hander, and it is stopped by Bobrovsky. Second partial breakaway that Willie Nylander has had.
He's really been the only offensive threat the Leafs have had in this game, and we're nearly at the midway mark.
2-0 Florida, and you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hello, 241 Pizza.
Hi, I know I should be buying Canadian, but right now I have a craving for pizza.
You came to the right place. 241 Pizza is Canadian owned and operated using the freshest ingredients from local suppliers.
Great! How much for a large 2-topping pizza?
Right now, just 12 loonies and 99 cents.
241 Pizza really is Canadian.
100%, eh?
241 Pizza, 241, oh 241.
How did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you. All of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Malcolm is a listening learner, so he checks with Babbel's speech recognition to be
Precio.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Firefighter Finn McHose, that's a nickname, right? Needed help contending with a blaze of debt. He called Alpine Credits and a superhero was sent his way. Summoning water, she extinguished the fire and consolidated his debt into one low monthly payment. His floors may be wet, but his debt is under control. Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Face-off coming in the Florida zone after a Willie Nylander partial break. The best he could do was a weak one-handed backhand.
Primarily, it's only because of the speed of Willie Nylander that was an opportunity at all. As they broke down the left wing side at a step in the defenseman and took it to the net, but was being cut off. So just get it on goal. And maybe put on the Captain Obvious cap again. Next goal is a big one.
Draw to the right, Bobrovsky. 13-18 to play in the second period, and the Leafs win the faceoff. At the point, a shot by Marner was easily caught by Bobrovsky, and again, doing a good job of boxing out there was Niko Mikkola. Matthews will take the faceoff again.
Florida's just owned the boards, both ends of the rink.
And the draw, scrummed, Nyes got it freed up for Matthews, swung around the wall, it'll come to Brendan Carlo on the backhand, he sends it back into the corner. Matthews in there to dig it out. Matthews with it now, coming out of the corner with it. Still with it, a shot right on the rebound. And it was knocked away. And out come the Panthers to center ice. Good hit there by Nyes. And the Leafs get it freed on the left wing. Marner to the line and in. Marner into the slot. Had it knocked off his stick, but it goes into the corner. Behind the back pass by Riley didn't work. And it's cleared out at center ice. And the Panthers have to wait for teammates to get on side before sending it in. And it's knocked in behind the Toronto goal. Riley to Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Larsson against the boards, just does get it out, but it is quite a crowd right at the Toronto blue line. Poked in over the line by Domi, but he was stopped by Kulikov. And now Bennett in the corner on the near side. Had the puck knocked off his stick, kept in by Brandon Carlo, cut off there by Tkachuk, and Tkachuk will play it around back of the net. Bennett hails from Holland Landing and is going to be an unrestricted free agent this year. Bennett with the puck in his backhand, lost the handle on it, but Domi couldn't knock it out past the defense. Kept into the Toronto zone. Puck is around back of the goal, then centered. And it's on the stick of Bobby McMahon, who finds Domi. Domi getting it ahead to Nylander, but he mishandled the puck. And it's cleared back to the center ice area. Leafs send it back into neutral ice. Fired right back into the Toronto zone. Slowed up and stopped by Joey Wall and left there for Brandon Carlo. He'll find his defense partner in Benoit. A long lead pass for Kemp. He gets his stick on it to just get it in the zone, but no pressure here as it comes up on the near wing, but Lawton gets there. It's cleared back out at center, and Tanev will find an opening to get it over on the far side to his defense partner. Jake McCabe returns the favor, and Chris Tanev starts out. Tanev's pass gets ahead to Lawton. He's going to shoot it, but it goes off his stick and up into the screen. Out of play with 11:04 left to play here in the second period, and the Panthers have added to the lead. It's 2-0.
Stood out to the slight edge. Shots here at 7-5, but no real concentrated pressure. Austin Matthews, maybe the best opportunity here in the second period for the Leafs. Walked out from behind the net and got his own rebound.
But he didn't elevate it. It was right along the ice.
One was the right pad save by Bobrovsky. One was his left pad.
Faceoff is right at the center ice red line. Tavares with Nylander. And the draw scrummed and played back to Brandon Carlo. Carlo gets to the red line but doesn't get it in deep. And it is Nosek sending it down into the Toronto end. Wall playing it back around the boards to Nylander. Nylander tried to chip it ahead for Tavares. That didn't work, and a shot goes wide of the net off the stick of Forsling as it goes to the far wing. Kept in and another long shot is blockered away by Wall. Played back to the net by A.J. Greer. Leafs get there, and it is Benoit getting it ahead, and the Leafs break it out with Nylander. Getting it to Tavares across the line. Tavares holds up. Tavares with a wrist shot, a rebound, and sprawling out to cover up on it is goaltender Bobrovsky. And a face-off coming in the circle to his right as the shutout streak continues for Sergei Bobrovsky.
Here we go, Leafs Nation. You know what to do. Let's
Lee Benz.
all the way to the slide. All together.
Pretty significant. Carry the 6.
Not that I don't have full confidence in your mathematical wisdom, but I've worked with you too long, and you worked with me too long to know that we're not going to get this right sooner or later. Face off to the right in the Florida zone.
Remember, the final stage is acceptance.
Yes. Won by Toronto. Riley to the half boards. Back to Marner in the slot. Marner's wrist shot is blockered away by Bobrovsky. Leafs Nyes trying to send it in, but it is cut off and brought out at center ice now by the Panthers, and they're going to launch it down into the Toronto zone and go in there after it. Wall got it out of the net and up on the right wing with time and space for Marner. Marner stops in a backhand pass, a blind pass, but is brought back in now by Florida. A pass into the goal crease, they score!
This is inexcusable.
Mitch Marner with a behind-the-back blind pass through neutral ice is cut off.
Yeah, and there was an opportunity to get it out earlier. But then instead, tried to make a spectacular exit out of the zone, and I mean a spinorama back pass, and it's the fourth line of the Florida Panthers that strike here and give them a 3-0 lead.
Boquist.
Pardon me, Boquist has been elevated to play with Barkov and Reinhart, but this is, like I said, it was a great pass by Reinhart, but it's just Leafs self-imploding here.
Domi having a word with Tkachuk at the face-off dot. Nothing more develops from it as it's cleared in over the line. Tkachuk looking to get in a bit of a shot on Domi, and as it's played back into the Toronto end.
Now Domi's just, everything's just falling apart. Takes a two-hander to Tkachuk and is going to go to the box. And we're one shot away from having lost this crowd here at Scotiabank Arena.
Penalty Kill is brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks. 3-0 Florida, and things going from bad to worse. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums,
the PGA Championship is on Sirius XM.
Yes! Are you kidding me? What a shot.
Follow all the action on Channel 92.
He made it! My goodness! Rory McIlroy!
Our roster of experts discuss how Rory McIlroy will follow up his masterful performance.
Rory's going to win a second major.
I put him as a favorite this week because of the golf course and how much he likes it.
Coverage of the PGA Championship from Quail Hollow Club begins tomorrow at 2 Eastern on Channel 92 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltendings? Stop it.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio puts you on the ice.
If you're trying to describe what playoff hockey is,
well, the ebbs and the flows, the momentum changes, the willingness to sacrifice whatever it takes, whether it's blocking a shot with your face. Every opportunity matters. You know, we learn an awful lot about ourselves in the playoffs and how you rise to the challenge and are willing to do whatever it takes for the team to be successful.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Cook at 6:08 and Boquist from Reinhardt and Forsling at 10:07. And now the Leafs face the power play for the first time in the game and down 3-0. Max Domi was trying to get something started to try to energize, but what he's done is put his team behind the 8 ball here now as the puck is in the Toronto zone and stolen and knocked into the corner off of the stick of McCabe. Back to the point it goes to Reinhardt. Reinhardt on the right wing side. Down around back of the net for Tkachuk. Fed around the wall on the near side for Anton Lundell. Back to Tkachuk. Back to Lundell in the near corner. Back to the point. Jones to the right wing side. And a wrist shot is blockered away nicely by Wall. Kept in as it comes back to the point. Jones into the slot area now. Reinhardt down low. Backhanded by Barkov wide. Clearing attempt was botched, but the Leafs are going to skate it out at center now. And they'll take a long shoot in on Bobrovsky, who tries to play ahead, but Tkachuk couldn't handle it cleanly. Now back come the Panthers with the power play in on the left wing. Played around the boards by Barkov. Fed back on the blue line and a pass goes off a stick and comes to the near wing. Leafs unable to get to it initially. Now it is shot out and down the ice. Look out. That was fired by Brendan Carlo and just enough glass over on the far side to keep that in a rink, or this would have really been a difficult spot if it isn't already. Bennett to the line and in on the left wing side for Marchand, and it was broken up by the Leafs, and now Matthews nowhere to go with it but shoot it down the ice, and he does. Nate Schmidt coming out of his own zone. Pass ahead across the line for Sam Bennett, trying to drop it back. He does to Schmidt. Schmidt for Bennett to the near wing it goes. Grabbed off there by Ekblad. Ekblad to the far side. 16 seconds left in the penalty. Marchand has it go off a skate. Leafs come up with it, and they'll get an easy time to clear, and down the ice it goes. 7 seconds left in the penalty. Maybe the Leafs can try to build on something here, but it's been really the only positive that they've had. An errant pass is going to produce an icing, and the penalty expires. Domi is back on, and the faceoff is going to come back into Florida territory.
Leafs need something good to happen in the final 7:39 here of the second period. I know we've seen some big comebacks in the playoffs in the third period, but 3-0 against Florida or more is pretty much a death sentence.
Face off to the right of Bobrovsky. Scrummed, but cleared to the line and out. Oliver Ekman-Larsson sends it back in. It was a delayed offside. Quickly played back into neutral ice by Florida. And Morgan Riley will find his defense partner. Oliver Ekman-Larsson gets it in on goal. Whoa, that took a bit of a hawk right at the end of Bobrovsky, who was out the top of his crease.
Nosek riding Leaf into the boards. In behind that up was Matthew Nyes, who was coming sniffing around for a rebound.
So the face-off will be in the Florida zone. Draw to the right of Bobrovsky, who has been quite the story here. Leafs scrum the draw into the corner, but can't come out with it. And now loose puck into the slot, and a shot went well wide of the net. Kept in by Oliver Ekman-Larsson, back for Marner. Marner around back of the net for Pacioretty. Pacioretty getting it back to the blue line. Riley's shot is blocked in front of the net. Grabbed off by Marner again. Marner on the far wing needs to get it in deep, and he does, but it's cut off there by Nosek. He'll get it ahead. Marner got to it, and then Pacioretty bowls over his man. Marner against the boards for Matthews. That doesn't work, and it's launched high out and down the ice, but it's going to be right on goal, and Wall has to turn it aside. Oliver Ekman-Larsson getting it down into the Florida zone. Cleared by the goaltender by Bobrovsky, and he almost was the architect of his own demise there as it was turned over. Leafs keeping the puck in. Nylander with a shot towards the net. Nyes couldn't get there to redirect. McCabe with a good hit on the boards. And now here is Lundell bringing it to center. He's going to drop it into the Toronto zone. Mikkola goes after it into the corner. Lundell taken to the boards by Tanev. Tanev with the puck on his stick now, trying to play it up and had it knocked off his stick, and it comes back to the point. Drive, scores! Mikkola makes it 4-0 Florida.
Chris Tanev is usually so good at chipping pucks out. For some reason, started the stick handle on the left wing boards. He had time and space. Ends up losing it. It goes to Mikkola on the left wing side. This is one Joseph Wall. You kind of need the save, but Florida Panthers, 3 defensemen on the scoreboard, plus Boquist, who was put in because of the injury to Evan Rodriguez. So from a Leaf standpoint, they haven't been getting beat by the snipers of the Panthers.
Kulikov, Boquist, and Mikkola all scoring their first goals of the postseason. And that has siphoned the air right out of the building. And the Boo Birds are here instead. Puck along the far boards, and now it is pushed by Greer out at center ice. Schmidt will send it down into the Toronto zone. Bouncing puck in the slot, comes back to the point. Another shot goes wide of the Leaf goal, near side for Schmidt. He'll play it into the corner. Panthers getting it back of the net. Benoit ties his man up to allow the puck to come free, and Lawton gets it to Oliver Ekman-Larsson to the line and in. Drop pass for Lorenz, looking in front of the net for Lawton, who was going to the net, but it was deflected well wide of the goal. 5:13 to play in the second period. It has been a disaster for the Maple Leafs thus far. Chipped in over the line by Bobby McMahon. Ekblad lost his stick. Puck in the corner now to Domi. Domi getting it back to the point, and the shot coming is blocked. Rebound in front. Reinhart able to play it gingerly down into the Toronto zone, and no icing here. Change of players for Paul Maurice's team. Off the boards and into the zone it goes. Grabbed off by McMahon, and the sharp angle shot was handled easily by Bobrovsky. Robertson trying to get it back in front of the net. McMahon back to the goal, and the Panthers have flipped it high to center ice. And Kachuk couldn't get away, and Tanev has it back in his own zone. Off a stick and down into Florida territory. Domi goes into the corner after it, tried to play it in front. Bennett intercepts, and he'll flip it high to center ice. And there's no strange tactic that the Panthers are doing. Punch it out, punch it in.
And win every battle. And the fans are letting the Leafs hear it. With 4:07 to go in the second, trailing 4-0. They probably deserve to voice their opinion.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Lately, times have challenging, with many people facing increased interest rates, inflation, and rising credit card debt. Everyone needs a little help from time to time, but it can be hard to ask for help when it comes to your personal finances. But you're not alone. Millions of Canadians share that feeling with you. 500,000 Canadians have found help with their debt, and so can you, with Consolidated Credit Counseling Services of Canada. They are one of the largest non-profit credit counseling organizations in the country, with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They could help you consolidate your bills bills into one affordable payment, minimize your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. No matter how much you owe, you don't need to do this alone. To get help, call 1-800-318-1940. That's 1-800-318-1940. Let Consolidated Credit get you back to a debt-free life. Call 1-800-318-1940. Call toll-free today for a free consultation. 1-800-318-1940. Ontario license number 4705786.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium parking navigator, a basketball team transporter, a remote cottage finder, a beaver spotter, a coach hauler, bear country guide, a family road trip carrier, a muddy road controller, extreme wind stabilizer, plus a... And we're out of time. Subaru is the multi-tool that masters every unpredictable weather condition. Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
Turn that on. 4:07 to go in the second period. It has been a disaster for the Maple Leafs. Kulikov, Boqvist, and Mikkola. Not one of them high-scoring product of the Florida Panthers.
But that's, I mean, they're full marks for the 4-0 lead simply because they've out-hit the Leafs. They've out-chanced them.
Well, the thing they have done is out-forecheck them. I mean, they have that is their game.
But, yeah, I mean, their X's have been so much easier, and the Leafs, let's put it this way, wouldn't it be nice to bookmark this moment and say, nobody thought they would have come back in this game.
It would be something, but it is now we've got Tavares with Matthews and Nylander on the forward line. And the pass deflects in off of Matthews down into the far corner. Nylander in there after it, and Tavares able to play it in around the boards, but it's going to go all the way out and down into the center ice area. Oliver Ekman-Larsson getting it ahead off a skate by Nylander, but brought right back in again by the Panthers. Barkov got it in front, backhanded towards the front of the net by Luosterainen, and the Leafs get it ahead, but out of the reach of Nylander. And an icing call is going to come here as Forsling is able to get position on the Leaf winger. So Craig Berube trying to pull out all of the stops here, juggling things up.
I know he has been asked about breaking Matthews and Marner up, and said he's always ended up going back to them, but I guess this would be the perfect time to start experimenting, right? And get something that might work.
Well, that behind-the-back pass by Mitch Marner that results in a goal. And here's a shot right off the face-off by Reinhart that is swallowed up by Wall. That was disastrous.
Yeah, I mean, the Leafs' top line is -2 in this game. They're on the ice for the first goal as well. Pretty difficult to win in the playoffs by being spectacular, right? In your own end, you're going to try to get it out with a spectacular play. As you've seen, I mean, Florida's just owned them in the chip and chase and bump.
They sure have. And the draw won by the Leafs, launched high into the center ice area, backhanded and into the zone by Lorenz. He'll go in there against Seth Jones. A hit by Lawton. The puck along the boards for Lawton. Back to the net for Lorenz. Lorenz trying to get to it, but it is grabbed by Boqvist, and he brings it to center. Pass down into the Leaf zone. Along the boards is Sam Reinhart. Challenged there by David Kemp, and the puck comes free, and the Leafs back of the net get it up ahead, and now it is pushed on the wing, and now here is Tanev having difficulties with it, but he gets to the red line, and he's going to launch it high into the left wing corner. Domi, fresh off the bench, along with Marner on this line, and is brought to center ice now by Florida, and a wrist shot is blocked. The Leafs bank it off the boards, just getting it out, quickly shot right back in again, and Riley has it for Toronto. Riley looking for Domi, and it deflects down into the Florida zone, but it's going to be an icing call. So Domi with Nyes and Marner, the forward line for Toronto, as Craig Berube is mixing and matching, trying to find anything that might provide a spark. But the spark's got to turn into a forest fire because it's 4-0 Florida.
And right now, the Florida Panthers looking to do what their opponents in the Stanley Cup Finals last year did. Lose the first two in a series, like Edmonton did to LA, and then come back and win the next one.
Shot blockered away by Wall. Pushed ahead for Marner. Marner launching it high into the zone. Nyes trying to get there and denied an icing, but couldn't get to the loose puck. Panthers have it again and get it to the line and out. Oliver Ekman-Larsson for Domi, dropping it back for Morgan Riley. Riley playing it ahead off Bobby McMahon, sticking into the zone. Minute 59 to go in the second period. Centering pass by Marner comes back to the point. Benoit's shot. That was deflected, and Bobrovsky has to make a pretty good save there, but he's right out at the top of the crease and swallowed that up for a face-off in the Florida zone.
And Bobby McMahon providing a screen. It might have been McMahon, Joe, that redirected that, but instead of it going up and past Sergei Bobrovsky, went right down into the equipment. Nice play. Yeah, I mean, this is a great redirection by McMahon. It just, fortunately, didn't work.
Draw to the right of Bobrovsky. And the draw scrummed. It goes into the corner, and Jones will play it to the line, but not out. Matthews had his stick knocked right out of his hands. The puck comes free. Nylander couldn't get to it, and it's pushed down the ice, and Benoit being chased hard here by Boqvist, taken to the boards. Benoit knocked it along the wall, but it is grabbed off by the Panthers, and back of the net is Reinhart trying to make a play. Punched along the boards for Barkov. Good hustle there by Boqvist, and that's the reason the puck is still in the Toronto zone with a minute 18 to go. Draw. The puck dug out. Nylander trying to flip it high, looking there for Bobby McMahon. He was knocked down on the play and lost his stick in the fray, and it's down into the Toronto zone, and an icing call coming here against the Florida Panthers.
It's amazing how the ups and downs in a series, right? First two games, the Leafs looked faster than Florida. The last couple, it has been the exact opposite. Leafs haven't been able to find their speed. What they've created off the rush has simply been Willie Nylander. And Florida just seems quicker to the boards, quicker into the zone.
Well, their dump and chase game is...
Yeah, but they look faster, don't they?
Yep. Well, they're making the puck work for them, right? Draw to the right. Won by the Leafs to the point. Riley into the slot and a wrist shot blocked before it reached the goal from Marner, and it is played out into the center ice area and knocked down into the Toronto zone. Brought out by Morgan Riley. A pass for Marner didn't connect. Then Tavares trying to send it in, has it deflect into the Toronto bench with 44.5 seconds to go in the period, and I do believe they're going to get saluted with the Bronx cheer when this thing is over with in the next 44.5 seconds.
Well, unfortunately, I mean, this is the 8-year history, right? Somebody said after the first period, they said, I think I've seen this movie before. And I think that's where you're going to get a reaction from the crowd. That's why.
Face off outside the blue line. Flipped high in the air. Domi didn't see it. And then it turns into a high stick making contact. So they'll face it off in the center ice area again. .8 seconds to go. And the draw won by the Leafs. McCabe shoots it in. Around the boards, it's going to come to the near wing. Cut off by Domi. Sent back into the corner for Nyes. He collides with Kulikov, but the puck is free, and the Panthers are going to get it out at center ice. Verhaeghe sending it in over the line, and the Leafs come away with it. And it is McCabe taking it back of the net, giving it back to a defense partner, as Tanev has it back of the goal, and a pass up on the wing, and Robertson gives the puck away with a bad pass, and it's shot right back down into the Toronto end. 5 seconds left, and the expected is just getting tuned up. 3 unanswered goals by the Florida Panthers. Kulikov, Boqvist, and Mikkola, all first of the playoffs. And a 1-0 first period lead has blown up to a 4-0 Florida advantage after 40 minutes of play.
Really, the 3 goals that Wall gave up, the first 3 goals, not much of a chance. But the fourth one, the one from Mikkola, fairly far range, no screen, beat him low glove side.
The Leafs,
really, the one that really hurt them is the Kulikov one that goes in off Scott Laughton's stick. And yet what led up to that is what's led up to all the goals against, which is just not being able to handle the Florida forecheck, turning pucks over your own end, and finding it in the back of your net.
Leafs outshoot the Panthers 15-12, but they are outscored 3-0. And Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart coming along with our second period intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050. And the
sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Frederik Andersen, #1 goaltender with the Canes. Congratulations on the contract extensions.
Yeah, good organization. I got high standards, and I want to push for that championship every year. And we haven't gotten to the ultimate goal, but we've been knocking on the door, and that's the perfect situation. Being on a team that's got those aspirations.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellar. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Points with Boomer Gordon.
16 out of 32. If you know your math, that's 50%. In the last calendar year, Jake, 50% of the teams in the National Hockey League have made a coaching change. That is absolutely ridiculous. Either coaches in this league just suck. They've been the scapegoats in this league for years and years and years, decades. It's an epidemic at this point.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it!
Under Review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Panthers cruise in.
And then.
He's in. Nylander with a shot at guard.
There were 8.
Draisaitl to McDavid, down the right wing, to the net. Score!
With the first round behind us, the battles only get more intense.
The whole way by Duhaime. Oh, Wilson! Along the goal line to the front of the net. It's loose. Kachuk with it. A shot. And he scores!
The Stanley Cup playoffs continue.
Follow your favorite team. NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have it taken. Don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
No one brings you the passion of the beautiful game quite like Sirius XM FC.
Would you believe this?
Whether it's live matches from the EPL, MLS, the NWSL, or the UEFA Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
And trailing 4-0 after 40 minutes of play. TSN After 40 brought to you by 241 Pizza, 100% Canadian owned and operated. Order a large 2-topping pizza today for just $12.99. Call 241-241. Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart, the former NHLer, in the booth with you, live from Scotiabank Arena. That was a tough period, Stu.
Yep. And, I do my best on these programs as a former pro to not, try to criticize and do my best to analyze. But there's no real way to sort of dress up, sort of that period, right, with what's all at stake with regards to this season and changing the narratives and so much to prove on certain players. It's just the effort's not there, right? And I've been in this exact situation, and, I've been on teams that, were, awful. And sitting in this situation, coaches are in this room right now saying not good enough. And this is an opportunity now to go around the room and sort of call some players out and say, we have to be better. And I've been in these situations where there's almost a fist fight. That's how much passion and privilege it has to be in today's NHL. It just seems like that's not there. Guys missing checks, missing assignments, throwing, no-look plays. It's just they're hoping. They're hoping. And against this defending Stanley Cup champions and a team that plays the game the right way, they smother you. They play heavy. They take away your time and space. A stretch zone pass, a no-look pass, a point shot from, with no traffic in front, that's not going to get it done. So, the narrative has been like this group cannot get it done, and they haven't done anything to change that narrative. So in the NHL, you sell wins or you sell hope. The first couple games, they didn't play their best, but they had the 2 wins. But sort of those symptoms that crept into their game in those first 2 games are now becoming, major problems on why they're struggling. And you can't put it on Joseph Woll. Yes, I'm sure he wanted that Nico Mikkola goal back. Yeah. But he's been doing his job. And, in a period, you had 3 players score their first goal of these playoffs. Any way you dice it, and I think everybody can agree, and Craig Berube is probably describing this to his group right now, it's just not good enough.
Well, and that's well said. I mean, there's 3 goals from defensemen. That wasn't anybody's bingo card. And Boquist, who wasn't in the game the last time they played on Sunday, is in because Rodriguez can't play, and he scores. And, I mean, the score sheet doesn't tell you what's happening. What's happening is Florida is dominating. And if you look at who gets the goals, you go, how does that happen? Well, it's because it's the result of domination.
Yeah, and I try to sort of, maybe take the listener into the mind of a player. And the last thing as an athlete you want to admit, it's too hard. But I've been out there, and I've been in situations where I'm playing against a team or a certain player, and I'm like, it's very, very hard. And I look around, and I look for somebody else maybe to bail me out, or maybe someone step up and throw that big hit. But as I got on in my career, I understood I had to be a difference maker. If I want to be in this league, I got to do something. And it just seems everybody's looking around, and when you look around enough throughout the room, the microscope comes back on you. So that's what I'm looking for. Who's going to step up? Who's going to step up? And I play with a lot of guys that were $5 million guys, $6 million guys. Those are the guys that stepped up. And when you're a $10 million, $13 million guy, the onus is on you based on your salary. And that is a fact. And in this market, it's an expectation and it's a reality. So, yes, world-class players, but in the playoffs, it's just not good enough at this point. And, again, I'm not trying to be critical, but, for me, as a guy that was $1 million guy, I would have the onus to try to step up and do something. There's enough talent with this group, but the will is just not there through the first 40 minutes, and it's pretty bleak because what can you hang your hat on? Saying, well, in the third, maybe if they get the power play or if they get the bounce, maybe if Nylander gets 4 more breakaways, right? He's been buzzing. He's got 5 shots on that. He's bringing his effort, but
he is.
Against the Stanley Cup champion, you got to match them blow for blow, speed for speed, chance for chance. And the system that got them to this point, it's just not there. It's one and done. They're making the hope plays. They're trying to spring guys on breakaways. The D zone coverage is not there, and they have to find a way. And that's the thing. They're not down. This is not a series clinching win tonight if Florida wins. But again,
it's a series tipper, isn't it?
From Game 3 led to Game 4, led to this game, and it looks like it's going to lead to Game 6, whenever that may be.
Yeah, well, that's Friday night. So, what do you salvage out of this, and what can you do in the third period? I'm not predicting a comeback here, but you got to do something to either even it out or tip it in the other direction.
If you're under the age of 12, please to turn the dial. But you gotta take some chunks out of them, right? Whether it's shooting pucks at ankles or getting involved physically, crashing the net. You got to do something to show like, hey, we're not going to roll over and die here. Game 6, we're going back to Florida, and we're going to show you why we were up 2-0. But it seems Domi tried to do that. What did he do? He came in and he took a 2-minute penalty.
Yeah,
and there was a goal a short time later. So again, you got to do something. I'm not sure what it is, but if I'm Craig Berube right now, I would not want to be in that dressing room listening to what he has to say. I'll tell you, it's not pretty, but at least show some effort and finishing strong with these 20 minutes. Whether you score or not, show that you're not going to roll over and die. Match some energy, match some hits. Try to rattle Bobrovsky, which he seems unrattable in the last couple of games too. But you got to do something going into this final 20.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a breakdown of the unit, right? And you're left with individuals trying to do things on their own, but it's the unit that has to sort of, I guess, rekindle itself.
Yeah, it's like everyone has a game plan until they get punched in the mouth. It's like that punched in the mouth knocked out a couple of teeth, and they're sitting in the dentist chair, hoping to get it fixed before the game is over. So it's frustrating, and it just seems like it is too hard, and it's tough to describe that to a fan who would do whatever it takes to be out here. But it's too hard for some guys right now in this series.
4-0, the Panthers lead over the Leafs after 40 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Hey, Sasquatch here. I've made a lot of friends working out at Planet Fitness. Let me introduce you to the Sasquad. First up, the Kettlebell Queen. She puts the fun in functional training. Next, Sir lifts a lot. He lifts a lot. And of course, the Stretcher. Her flexibility.
Get started at Planet Fitness today for $1 down and then $15 a month. Offer expires May 15th. $49 annual fee applies. See Home Club for details.
Got PC Optimum points? Claire does, and shops the bonus redemption event at Shoppers Drug Mart to get more free stuff for her points.
If I redeem 50,000 points, I'll get $65 off. That's an extra $15 in value. I see a treat in my future.
Awesome, Claire. The bonus redemption event runs May 9th to 14th, in-store and online. Don't miss this chance to get more free stuff for your points. Only at Shoppers Drug Mart. Proudly Canadian owned and operated. Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's James Duffy for McAlpine Ford in Aurora. The best sales and service you will find anywhere.
Jimmy, step aside.
Oh, what are you doing? I'm recording the commercial.
I chatted with Peter at McAlpine. He wants a new voice. He loves the needle mover idea.
But this is my thing. I'm the McAlpine guy.
Beat it. It's my time to shine. Hey, come visit Pete and his team at McAlpine Ford in Aurora. Visit McAlpineFord.com. Tell them the O-Dogs sent you.
And James, too.
Take a hike, Jimmy. It's O-Dogs time now.
30 seconds to promote 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon. What's the sell?
The sell is our guests. Bigger names, bigger stories than anywhere else.
Brad Treliving is standing by. Ron McLean, John Davidson, Peter Boers coming up, Chris Pronger, Paul Maurice, Alex Petrangelo, Barry Trotz, Mark Messier, Kyle Dubas, George McPhee, Jeff Jackson, Ron Francis, Kyle Davidson. Gary Bettman is going to stop by in just a little bit. 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
On your preferred podcast platform.
Lately, times have been challenging, with many people facing increased interest rates, inflation, and rising credit card debt. Everyone needs a little help from time to time, but it can be hard to ask for help when it comes to your personal finances. But you're not alone. Millions of Canadians share that feeling with you. 500,000 Canadians have found help with their debt, and so can you, with Consolidated Credit Counseling Services of Canada. They are one of the largest non-profit credit counseling organizations in the country, with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They can help you consolidate your bills into one affordable payment, minimize your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. No matter how much you owe, you don't need to do this alone. To get help, call 1-800-288-4991. That's 1-800-288-4991. Let Consolidated Credit get you back to a debt-free life. Call 1-800-288-4991. Call toll-free today for a free consultation. 1-800-288-4991. Ontario license number 4705786.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. You don't have to go to town for a great new Tundra RAV4 gas or hybrid. Maple Toyota has them in stock and ready to deliver. Visit mapletoyota.com. Just went to the game, Edmonton and Vegas. Edmonton in the driver's seat in that series, and that will start in about a half hour or so in our game. 4-0 over the Leafs. Ekblad his second. Kulikov his first. Boquist his first. Mikkola his first. 3 defensemen getting goals in this game. 4-0 for the Panthers over the Leafs after 40 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
Relive the party anthems, line dances, and cringeworthy slow songs.
You're like a dream come true, and I don't want to miss a thing.
On Prom Radio. Find it in the SiriusXM app on your phone and at home on your computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices. Just search Prom.
NHL Morning Skate.
Frederick Anderson, number 1 goaltender with the Canes. Congratulations on the contract extensions.
Yeah, good organization that have high standards, and I want to push for that championship every year. And we haven't gotten to the ultimate goal, but we've been knocking on the door, and that's the perfect situation. Being on a team that's got those aspirations.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellar. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
16 out of 32. If you know your math, that's 50%. In the last calendar year, Jake, 50% of the teams in the National Hockey League have made a coaching change. That is absolutely ridiculous. Either coaches in this league just suck. So they've been the scapegoats in this league for years and years and years, decades. It's an epidemic at this point.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
No one brings you the passion of the beautiful game quite like SiriusXM FC.
Would you believe this?
Whether it's live matches from the EPL, MLS, the NWSL, or the UEFA Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate. Weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Teams coming back onto the ice to start the third period. Second period was brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian, Ultra, Export, or XL, there's a Molson with your name on it. The Leafs have not scored in 129 minutes and 4 seconds. And during that period, they've been outscored 7-0.
Boy, starting with Brad Marchand overtime goal in Game 3. Whether you say Florida's gotten better or a little bit of both.
A little of both, I would suggest.
They got here.
Yep.
seconds of 4-on-4, and then the Panthers will go.
This is. Let's not talk about the officiating at this point. This is all Leafs to this point, but that is something.
Draw to the right in the Toronto end. Won by Matthews. Leafs with the puck back in their own zone. Dropped back by the Leafs for Tanev. Tanev looking for Marner. That was knocked away. Down into the corner again it goes. Maple Leafs with it again, and the penalty is over, and now Florida is on the power play as Marner gets it out at center but can't find McCabe jumping into the rush. The Leafs are changing their defense and forward complement as Lawton comes over the boards as well. Marner remains out there. Barkov will drop it off. Jones dropping it back. Barkov has to go back. Lawton will finish his hit on Barkov, and the puck is brought out by Seth Jones to center. Got it in over the line on the right wing for Tkachuk. Over on the left wing looking for Barkov again. It comes back to the blue line. Jones to Tkachuk to the far side for Reinhart. Back it comes. Tkachuk to Reinhart again. Deflected off the stick of the Maple Leafs Lorenz, and it comes to center ice. Leafs will change again. 48 seconds left in this power play. An errant pass is going to come to the line and out. And Florida will go back to their own blue line to organize.
Don't think for a moment Florida wouldn't love to shove another one.
Here's a shot taken there off the stick of Tkachuk. That goes off a shoulder and up into the screen and out of play. Face-off coming in the Toronto zone.
Sure, I remember this building being this quiet at a playoff game.
Well, and it's getting emptier and emptier.
Yeah, at this point. One thing, through all the losses over the last 7 or 8 years, we haven't had a lot of these.
No, they've been close games. I mean, they've been disappointing, but this is, bordering on disastrous. Shot down the ice off a face-off win by the Maple Leafs. 22 seconds left in the power play. To the line and in for the Panthers into the slot. Lundell, a shot, and he whistled it high and wide. Rebound punched around the boards to the far side. Trapped there by Ekblad. Back to the net it goes. Back to Ekblad in front, and the shot off Luosterainen just went wide. Penalty is over. Domi's back into the fray. A centering pass for Lundell didn't work, but he's able to come away with the puck in the far corner. And now along the near side, the Leafs are going to get to it and backhand it out at center. And Nyes is there to regroup it back into the Toronto zone as the Leafs are changing. Played to an open corner then by Tanev. And the Leafs have to go back to retrieve it. Chris Tanev, long rink-wide pass, finds Nylander. Nylander to center, fanned on a pass. Then when he tried to send it in, that might have been offside.
I'm with you, Tavares.
Yeah. Kulikov trying to get it out. Well, it doesn't matter. The Panthers get it out at center ice anyway. Riley missing on a pass for Tavares. Goes down into the corner. Played around the boards to the near side. Nylander couldn't get to it. A hit there by Pacioretty against the boards. The Leafs are able to keep it in, but as they play it in deep, Nylander has gone to the bench. And so the Panthers will do likewise. 14:42 left in the third period. 4-0 Florida. Brought out on the right wing side by Mikkola. Shot into the zone and around the boards to the far side of the Toronto end. Back of the net for Benoit. Chipped up on the wall. McMahon couldn't come up with it. Brandon Carlo to the far side. Got it ahead. Pushed to center ice. And McMahon got it in a little deeper, but Tkachuk's back checking was diligent enough to play it out into the center ice area. Brandon Carlo can't get it into the zone, and Matthews will find Benoit on the left wing boards. His pass ahead is deflected into Florida territory. Going in after it to try and get in the forecheck there was Lorenz, but he was a little late, and back down in Toronto territory it comes. Laid up on the wing on the far side, and the Leafs will start out with it. A pass on the left wing, too far for McCabe. Turns into an icing. And it's coming all the way back into the Maple Leaf zone. Face-off coming to the right, I believe, of Joseph Wall. If that is where the Panthers want to have the face-off, and they usually do.
You know, even a little play like this, I mean, trying to break out of your own zone. Jake McCabe's coming up the left wing side, but there's 3 Panthers around him. So even if you make the play, the long diagonal pass out of your zone, he's got nowhere to go with it. And the other worst case scenario is you get an icing.
Austin Matthews -2. And another one off the face-off, won by the Florida Panthers, and it's 5-0.
And this is the 4th line, as A.J. Greer is the one that puts it in. So again, you know, we're talking about, you don't think it's a big deal. You try to force that play out of your own zone. It's an icing. You get a face-off in your own end. And guess what? A couple of seconds later, it looks like Jake McCabe, Joe, got high stick.
In the face?
Yeah, right before, and by Greer, who ended up scoring it. McCabe ended up dropping his stick.
Or did he got hit by the puck.
Yeah, it was the
got
puck
hit
came
by
up.
the puck. Yep.
It's been that kind of game, isn't it? Matt Murray is going to come in now for Joseph Wall. I'm going to believe at this point, no point risking injury or further damage to the confidence of the Leaf goaltender.
Well, we can safely say that Game 6 is going to have to be a hell of a lot better than what we're watching here tonight. Greer gets the goal, and that is his first point of the postseason. So it hasn't been the guys all that have 8 points. Bennett, Reinhart, Lundell, Barkov, Tkachuk, Verhaeghe, Luosterainen, Marchand all have 8 points in this series, but it's been the lesser lights. Kulikov, Boquist, Mikkola, and Greer who've scored the goals. And the Leafs' number 1 line is, that's what I was looking up before I was rudely interrupted with the goal being scored. -2 on the night, -3 in some instances.
Matt Murray, by the way, hasn't played a playoff game since the 2019-20 season.
Leafs keep the puck in with a long shot wide of goaltender Bobrovsky, who is looking for his second shutout in the row. With 12:22 left to play in the period. Sent down, Murray getting it up on the wing. Leafs will start out with it, and now here's Benoit carrying to the line and in. Down into the corner for Tavares. Tavares up against the boards, double teamed on the wall. Pacioretty can't get it to him, and it goes into the near corner. Pacioretty throwing his weight around, and there's going to be a penalty here for high sticking. And is it Tavares who is getting it? I believe it is. And now we get some shoving over on the far side that's drawing a crowd.
Well, Matt Murray, buckle up.
Yep.
Yeah, the Florida power play coming up.
And a couple of Leafs were overtaking a bridge with Tkachuk, but no challenge was matched. So another penalty to the Maple Leafs, and Tavares going to the penalty box. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050. And
Find out who will lift the FA Cup trophy this weekend on SiriusXM FC. Crystal Palace are 90 minutes away from their first FA Cup title.
Eze into the area, right-footed shot, slams it in!
In their path is a dangerous Manchester City side, keen on salvaging their season.
Oh, Kevin De Bruyne, that is simply sensational.
It's the FA Cup final, Palace versus City, Saturday at 11:30 Eastern on SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Frederick Anderson, number one goaltender with the Canes. Congratulations on the contract extensions.
Yeah, good organization that have high standards, and yeah, want to push for that championship every year. And we haven't gotten to the ultimate goal, but we've been knocking on the door, and that's the perfect situation. Being on a team that's got those aspirations.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellar. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Points with Boomer Gordon.
16 out of 32. If you know your math, that's 50%. In the last calendar year, Jake, 50% of the teams in the National Hockey League have made a coaching change. That is absolutely ridiculous. Either coaches in this league just suck. They've been the scapegoats in this league for years and years and years, decades. It's an epidemic at this point.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
This on the Greer goal, and the Panthers are off to the power play. And if you wanted to take a round out of Tkachuk or Bennett or anybody else at this point, they are just walking away from it. Draw scrummed into the corner. Played around the boards. It'll come to the near side. Tkachuk keeps it in. Panthers going with their number one power play and a 5-0 lead as it's sent out and down the ice by Toronto.
Think that's the message?
Sure it is. Brought out by Jones. Dropped back now for Reinhart. Reinhart sends it in around the boards to the far side. Played around back to the net into the near corner for Tkachuk. Running at him was Lorenz, but he didn't get much of him. Puck on the far side, kept alive by the Panthers. Back to the point it goes to Jones. Jones to Barkov, a pass into the goal crease area. Knocked away to the near boards, but not cleared. Barkov into the corner, right back to the point it comes to Jones. A shot that was deflected wide of the Leaf goal. Matt Murray in goal for the Leafs now. Pass onto the left wing side and a shot blockered away by Murray, and he's able to cover up on it. Off a save off Sam Reinhart.
Well, the unfortunate part for the Leafs and Joseph Woll is that Woll's best game was Game 4. Only gave up 2 goals, loses 2-0. If he plays that way in Game 3, Leafs win, right? They get him 4 goals in support, and they win it. Or, if the Leafs get 4 goals in Game 4, the same difference. His best game came at the wrong time, but now the Leafs, who scored 13 goals in the first 3 games of this series, are in danger of being shut out in back-to-back games.
Face-off will be in the circle to the right of Woll. 58 seconds left in the Tavares minor. And it's swung in front of the net, and Bennett snaps home right off the face-off, and it is 6-0 Florida.
How many goals right off the face-off now? That's a couple anyway.
3.
Yeah, that's right. Greer's the last one was right off the draw. It's David Kemp. Kemp actually wins it back. But the Panthers, puck is drawn. It's just about a foot behind Kemp's right skate. And the Panthers get to it first. Throw it out to the slot, and Sam Bennett just flings it up over the left shoulder into the crossbar behind Matt Murray.
And for Bennett, that is his 6th goal of the postseason. And it is his first power play goal. Nyes gets the puck down into the Florida zone. Matthews overskates it. Chopped at it, couldn't get it. Pushed to center ice by Florida, and then shot back in by Toronto. Bobrovsky getting it up on the wing and out at center ice. And the Leafs back in their own zone. A pass for Pacioretty was down wide of the goal. Icing waved off. The Florida Panthers 6 and the Toronto Maple Leafs no score. Pushed out into the center ice area. Well, It's a best of 7. This is one game. And I suppose if you're going to have some motivation, you might as well get your noses rubbed in it.
Well, I was going to say it wouldn't be a very popular sentiment, but sometimes you lose this game, say in triple overtime, it's a gut punch. You use this, it's just a write-off. And I honestly do believe it. Sometimes if you're going to lose big. Not that should be the game plan, but I think as you get through a series, I mean, this isn't. I think Game 3 hurt them, how they lost. They blew a 2-goal lead, lost in overtime. But for this one, there's no way Florida can expect the Leafs to be this bad in Game 6.
Bouncing puck knocked along the boards. Leafs trying to keep it in the Florida zone. Nick Robertson taken to the wall. McMahon gets it back to the blue line. Far side Tanev. Wrist shot coming. That's wide. Bounced off the inboards and is quickly cleared down into the Toronto zone by the Panthers. Domi circles back and gives it ahead and gets a return pass on the left wing. He'll get it across the line for McMahon. Easy save made by Bobrovsky on a long wrister. Played into the slot area. Grabbed off there by Reinhart. Out come the Panthers at center and across the line. Drop pass by Boquist, and that was blocked. And Nick Robertson turns back up ice for Toronto. An alley-oop pass trying to get it ahead for Camp, but he was unable to come up with it and then gives the puck away anyway. Comes to center ice and or at least the Maple Leafs Lorenz there. But another turnover. Wrist shot is gloved by Murray, and he's going to hold on, and there's not going to be a corporal's guard left in here. With 8 minutes and 42 seconds left in the third period, a lot of people heading for the exits. 6-0 Toronto. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
At Canada's Wonderland, we're serious about our guests having fun. Seriously. Just listen to our park opening side
of care. Welcome to Baptist Health.
Cheers to champions. Manos Wine has teamed up with the Florida Panthers to celebrate the 2024 Stanley Cup champions. Introducing our exclusive collection of deep-etched, hand-painted wines and sparkling metallic red bubbly, each featuring unique championship designs. Whether you're toasting to victory at home or celebrating with friends, these limited edition bottles are a must-have for every Panthers fan. Shop now at manoswine.com or find us at your local liquor store. Raise your glass to the champions, because every victory deserves a great wine.
Panthers fans, score big on game day at Stoner's Pizza. Every game day, buy a large cheese or pepperoni pizza and get one of the same variety free. With fresh ingredients and daily handmade dough, Stoner's Pizza is the perfect pairing for puck drop. Order in-store or online at stonerspizzajoint.com and use code GOCATS. Stoner's Pizza, the official pizza of the Florida Panthers. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer.
Third period, 6-0. The Panthers all over the Toronto Maple Leafs here in this Game 5. Series tied 2-2. But right now, the Panthers in the driver's seat. And the goal tonight was to set up a potential opportunity to move on come Friday night when the Panthers get back home for Game 6.
How good's the hockey been the last 3 games for the Panthers? It's down 0-2, no panic in the game. Resilient.
Face-off win, Nosek far circle. It's Mikkola, shot tipped off the side of the net. A.J. Greer behind the goal into a tie-up with Lawton. Punched off to the near circle, Kampf after it. And he will push one out through center, clearing for Toronto down to our left. Mikkola, far corner. Upended there by Lawrence. Now it's Kulikov behind the net. Takes a shove from Lawton, but did get the clear. Benoit back inside his own line. Left it for Carlo. Brandon Carlo, an outlet to Stephen Lawrence. Tipped along to our left inside Panthers territory. Sergei Bobrovsky back behind the net. And it's interesting, you look back, Billy, the Leafs went up 2-0 early in Game 3, and it felt like there was a dramatic change in everything from that point on. And you look at it, and it shows you just the DNA of this Panthers team. They were in a very uncomfortable situation. Here's Morgan Riley up the left side, down to the corner, tries to center, pass didn't connect. They were down in the series 2-0, down 2-0 early in Game 3. And that was where everything turned in their favor.
And 3-1 off that power play goal at the start of the second. And then it's been the Panthers with that couple of quick goals, tied it up at 3, got the lead. Riley scored, going overtime, you win that game. But after coming back from that 3-1 deficit, all of a sudden the Panthers had their life. And that's where it flipped, because the Maple Leafs, if they control that game and go up 3-1, then you're looking at a huge uphill battle.
Yep. Here's Nylander for Toronto down to our left. Along the inboards, then over to the far circle. A backhand high slot McCabe. A shot deflects. Tavares in close, and his sharp angle try kicked away by the left pad of Bobrovsky. And now it's walked along by Anton Lundell. Powers through some pressure. Straight on, Luostarinen to the offensive end. Tanev kept it from him to the corner. Marchand ties up Tanev. Luostarinen finds the puck. Over on the far side, Pacioretty had it poked away as he almost recovered. Now here's a shot from Seth Jones, and a save made by Murray. Then in the corner, some shoving, as it was Tavares in there against Luostarinen, and then Nosek in there to grab a hold of a Maple Leaf.
Oh, here comes Marchand.
Big crowd draws.
Marchand was going for a change, realized, okay, there's something going on. He skated all the way from the Panthers bench back into the action.
He came back and he grabbed William Nylander, and that's who he has a hold of down there. He dumped Nylander down to the ice. Marchand's had his helmet knocked off in the middle of all this, and he's still wanting to converse. Meanwhile, Nosek on the inboards. Here's Nico Mikla in there against Tanev on the end wall, and things get a little heated between those two big defensemen down behind the net.
Some big bodies. Yeah, the Panthers got the right players on the ice, some of them.
And now Nosek just gave a shot to Jake McCabe. Mikla and Tanev continuing to tussle back behind the goal. Marchand's been ushered off to the penalty box. So right now, the Panthers a little bit outnumbered here, and Luostarinen's helmet's been knocked off. Tanev and Mikla still engaged back behind the net. Tavares and Seth Jones locked together. Then the linesman between Tanev and Mikla, and that prompts Tanev to throw a right hand at Nico Mikla. Pacioretty now has a hold of Tomas Nosek, and I think Nosek wants to. I think he's telling Pacioretty, you want to do the dance? We'll do it right here.
I'm surprised out of all that scrum that we didn't see anyone drop the close, because we had 3 players all squared up against each other, and looked like Pacioretty and Nosek were the closest to coming to blows. Marchand might get the original 2 out of this, as he skated all the way back from the bench to grab Nylander. A lot of things to sort out. A lot of guys over there in the penalty box.
Yep, 3 Panthers in the box, and it looks like Pacioretty's in the box. I'd be surprised.
Tanev or someone.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Chris Tanev didn't wind up in there for one reason or another, but our officiating crew.
When you got the notepad out with the officials, then you know it's going to take a while to do all this.
So they're sorting that out. 6:41 to go in the third. 6-0, the Panthers over the Leafs.
Kelly Sutherland, or Furlat, our referees, and Kelly Sutherland.
And now Marchand's out of the box. And
I think he's getting 10.
Yeah, he and Kelly Sutherland are having a lengthy conversation.
Won't be the first time he's got 10.
And our officials, I think, have reached that point where I think anything, let's just say anything could earn you a 10-minute misconduct here. I don't think they're going to hesitate to hand those out here at this point. Well, the Panthers are on the verge of taking a 3-2 lead in the series. And that would push Toronto to the brink of elimination. Still 6:41 left.
Marchand's headed to the dressing room. He looks like he's done for the night.
Yep, that looks like the
you got to make sure that
end of the evening for him.
You got. I don't know what happened, but Marchand was going back to the Panthers bench for a change and came back. I never caught the full sequence of it, but he does have to be careful that he didn't go onto the bench and have a player step over for him, and then have that player return after the whistle and him jump back onto the ice. There was no fight or anything out of it. That could be what ends up getting him the 10-minute misconduct. Not totally, because I wasn't sure the line changed, but he was close to the bench and
basically saying he had committed to the change at that point.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he got onto the bench.
Yep.
There might have been a point where he got onto the bench and said, "Heck with it, you stay." The person that was coming over for him, and I'm getting back out there. Lot to sort out for the referees.
Well, Nosek and Luostarinen in the box, and I think McCabe and Pacioretty, they're looking to their left. Nosek's looking to his right. I don't think they're all talking to gentlemen in the timekeeper's booth down there. I think they're yelling at each other. 6:41 left in the third, 6-0. The Panthers in front of Toronto.
Palmer's getting an explanation down there on the bench as to what everything's sorting out here. Because what Marchand didn't warrant a misconduct for just grabbing Nylander from behind.
Right.
I believe it had something to do with the change. So that's good at the Marchand point of view that didn't break out into fisticuffs on the end of it, because especially if Marchand got involved into a fight or something, then you're looking at a whole another ball of wax.
Well, it looks like Carter Verhaeghe's come over to the penalty box. I'm not sure if he's going to be serving a penalty for Marchand, which makes me wonder if the Panthers are going to be down a man coming out of this. Still wait for the final ruling here. We haven't had the announcements. And a face-off ultimately is going to be down to our left in the Panthers' end. So would lead you to believe there's going to be a Leafs power play coming from all this. Now Marner, Matthews, Nyes, Nylander, the power play unit's coming on for Toronto. So it's going to be 5-on-4. And from all that, Luostarinen, Nosek, and Marchand, and then McCabe and Tavares and Pacioretty, it looks like. They've all assessed penalties. But it will be a 5-on-4 for Toronto.
Another explanation to Paul Maurice. This is really taking a long time to sort out. I'm not sure it's that complicated.
Face-off near circle down to our left.
Maybe.
We'll read it to you when we have it updated on the sheet on our end, because we haven't gotten the announcements.
This is time we'll never get back.
Well, it's given a lot of people an opportunity to rethink whether or not they want to be here in the arena, because this place is emptied out a little bit more. 6:41 left in the third. 6-0. The Panthers in front. Here on the near side, it's Riley across the ice. Nylander back across for Morgan Riley. Back over for Nylander. Riley at the line to Matthews. He puts it down low. It's poked away by Mikla. He shoves Marner to the boards. Battle down low, down inside the Panthers' end near corner. Matthews had it poked away by Mikla. Jesper Boquist up the near side, and he will work it along down to our right. Good penalty killing effort there from Jesper Boquist. Now up the ice come the Leafs. He'll work in offensively. Nylander into the offensive end, top of the far circle, looking back door, and then the far corner. It's Marner up top for Morgan Riley. Lundell, Ekblad, Gadjevich, and Kulikov. The four penalty killers on for the Panthers here. Matthews in front, couldn't pull the trigger, and the Panthers will get a clear. Ekblad to Lundell. He'll work along. Lundell, top of the right circle in front, and it redirects just wide. Gadjevich was crashing the net. Now he's got it held up on the end wall, and the Leafs eventually come up with it. Morgan Riley's going to walk it along. Jonah Gadjevich getting a little bit of PK time there.
Roll it out. You got Marchand in the room. He's normally on the penalty kill. You got to have someone out there to replace him.
Greer and Boquist, the forwards on the penalty kill now. Good takeaway, Ekblad, and he'll slug one all the way down to our right. Matt Murray after it. Ekman-Larsson behind the net. Works through the far circle. Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Near side, Domi. In over the Panthers line. He'll dump it down to our left around the end boards. Robertson over along the boards. Leaned on there by Boquist. 2-on-2 scrum in the corner. And Robertson eventually winds one around. Here on the near side, it's Domi. Up top, Ekman-Larsson. across. It's handled by Robertson to Ekman Larson at the line. Long wrist shot. Save. Bobrovsky through traffic. Lawton was whacking away at the goaltender, and that draws in Nico Mikkola. He and Lawton tie up. Then Jones grabs a hold of Lawton, and they wrestle to the end boards. And Lawton, he was just going to keep whacking away.
Yeah, Lawton should get something for sure. There were some punches thrown at his face. He started it. Mikkola came in there after, and this should be all square. But Lawton there just banging away Sergei Bobrovsky's pads when he
penalty number 24.
has it.
Florida penalty number 77. 2 minutes each for roughing.
So a couple of minutes each for roughing there, and good for Mikkola for sticking up for his goaltender. Mikkola getting in his scrums here.
4:53 to go in the third. 6-0 Panthers. The penalty box is quite crowded down there.
Working on his jabs, Mikkola.
A little shoving with Scott Lawton. And a face-off be in the far circle down to our left inside the Panthers zone. Left to Sergei Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky has seen 26 Leafs shots tonight.
Never had a room almost to sit in the Leafs side with 4 players in there. 3 on the Panthers. You got 7 players in the penalty box combined.
Oliver Ekman Larson to Morgan Riley. Sharp angle try and a save made by Bobrovsky. Snared that out of the air. Then Gadjevich and Bobby McMahon. And McMahon was standing in that goal crease for a long time. And Jonah Gadjevich just grabbed him around the collar of the jersey and said, if you're not going to get out of the goal crease, I'll move you out of the goal crease. And 4:45 will remain in the third period. 6-0. It's the Panthers in front.
Watch out here for Gadjevich and Domi, maybe.
Lundell and Domi on for the draw. And they battle off the face-off. Here's Robertson near side. Robertson flings it down and around to the far corner. Ekman Larson in after it. Gadjevich threw a hard shoulder into him, then an extra shove. The puck cleared out to the neutral zone. Here's Morgan Riley up the near side. And the Leafs will have control. Nick Robertson peels back to his own blue line. Sam Bennett pressuring there. Dropped back for the defenseman Riley. Here's Domi. Cruises up the near side. Gives to McMahon. Bobby McMahon to the corner. He's shoved down by Kulikov. Here on the near boards, it's Stephen Lawrence to the line. Benoit across Carlo. A shot saved Bobrovsky through traffic, and he will hold on to that. 4:06 to go in the third. 6-0 Panthers. Jesper Boquist and Bobby McMahon a little shoving out in front of the net. And everything is calmed for now, and that'll take us to our final media timeout here in this third period of action. Panthers 6, the Leafs nothing here in Game 5. Panthers looking to take a 3-2 lead in the series. We'll bring you back for the rest of it when we come back on the Florida Panthers Radio Network, presented by Baptist Health.
Tabanero Hot Sauce is bringing the heat to the rink this game day, folks. As the official hot sauce of the Florida Panthers, enjoy Tabanero today at any concession stand at the Emirates Bank Arena. We've got it in every flavor: original, sweet and spicy, curry habanero, and extra hot. Their premium sauce blends are crafted right here in South Florida from all natural, locally sourced ingredients. And the party doesn't have to stop after the stadium. Take Tabanero home with you by visiting your local Florida retail stores. Savor the flavor of Tabanero.
I love the ocean.
Me? I love a slow winding river. I love the lake. Slick as glass.
But nothing compares to what you love inside the boat.
My family.
My child.
My best friend from first grade.
If you're behind the wheel of a boat, pay attention. That way your favorite water will always be safe water. Learn more about boating safety at myfwc.com. Brought to you by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission.
Funky Buddha is back as the official craft brewery of your Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. Funky Buddha brings the taproom fun to Amarant Bank Arena, where you can grab an ice-cold gloves-off IPA, brewed exclusively for the Florida Panthers and their fans. Party with them all year long at their brewery in Oakland Park, where you can catch all the Panthers action with their signature selection of innovative brews. Or stop by your closest retailer and bring Funky Buddha home with you. No matter where you're watching, they'll be right there with you. Cheers and go Cats! Funky Buddha Brewery, Oakland Park, Florida. Please drink responsibly.
4:06 to go, third period. 6-0. It's the Panthers over the Maple Leafs. Doug Plagans, Billy Lindsay, Kevin Rogers with you tonight. Paul Gatz, our on-set engineer. Vlad Lusant back at studio control. A face-off down to our left inside the Panthers zone. To the left of Sergei Bobrovsky, who's turned away 27 of 27 tonight. The Panthers out shooting the Leafs 32-27. Panthers try to take a 3-2 series lead. Nosek will take the face-off against Kampf. Off the face-off, Kulikov takes over. Punches it off the far boards. Carlo kept it in. He whips it down wide. Here on the near side, Gadjevich, a hard lick on Pacioretty. Then A.J. Greer will punch one along. It's off Carlo to Lawrence covering the point. He'll play it down low, back behind the net. Kampf has it in the trapezoid behind Bobrovsky. David Kampf out to the far point. Carlo to Benoit near point. Simone Benoit down and off the end boards. Loose puck back behind the goal. Stephen Lawrence out to the far point. Carlo winds, fires, partially blocked, rolls in on Bobrovsky. Whacking away in front with Pacioretty. Couldn't make clean contact. The puck picked up and cleared along by Jones. Not out of the zone though. Here's Benoit at the line. Long drive. He airmailed that one well high of the mark. Over on the far side, Carlo after it. Long shot, and that one's wide through traffic. Benoit put it around the end boards. Greer far side. He will clear for the Panthers. Getting it to center ice, and Benoit will backpedal to his own line. Both teams change up the personnel. 3:05 to go. Third period, 6-0. Panthers in front of the Leafs here this evening.
Some pressure from Toronto from a makeshift line. Lawrence, Pacioretty, and Kampf.
Matthews in for Toronto on the right side. Schmidt sticks to him. Matthews, a shot from the far boards, kicked away by Bobrovsky. Then McCabe flings it out in front. That rims out to the far point. Tanev to Matthews. Long shot, a save made by Bobrovsky. He was looking for it. Nate Schmidt to the rescue. Looks to play one along. Loose here in the near circle. Didn't get it out, but got it out of harm's way. Luostarinen taken down by Marner here in the near corner. Back behind the net, Nate Schmidt. He'll pick up control of the puck. Backhands out to the line. Held in. An airborne puck knocked down by McCabe. Played it down behind the net. Matthews is there. And Austin Matthews is into a little bit of a shoving tussle with Ekblad. Puck knocked away. Ekblad back behind the net. He'll give to Nate Schmidt. Banks it up the near boards, and Jesper Boquist will clear with 2:10 to play here in the third. 6-0 the Panthers over the Leafs here in Toronto. Benoit dumps it in along the near side, down to our left. Bobrovsky cuts it off. He gave it to Kulikov. Up the far side, Gadjevich. Jonah Gadjevich across center ice. He's hit from behind by Bobby McMahon. The puck came free, and Tavares will walk it along for Toronto. Dumped down to our left. And back behind the net, Kulikov was tied up by McMahon and taken down. The puck winds up in the far corner. Seth Jones back to grab it for the Panthers. Walks along to center. Drives it down. Back behind the net, Matt Murray, goaltender for the Leafs. He'll lay it over in the far corner for Morgan Rielly. 1:31 to go in the third. 6-0 Panthers in front.
And once this got to 6-0, I don't believe we've seen Matthew Tkachuk since. You get a chance to rest him. They do on all occasions. And looks like they've done it again.
And they've lightened the load for Barkov and Reinhart, too. Long shot from the far point, deflects away.
Yeah, you've seen Gadjevich come out every center. Yep. Double shifted. Glorious time for a fourth line.
Here's a backhand in front, and they score. And as he was taken down, it was Robertson who breaks the shutout for Toronto. And this is going to draw a big crowd out in front. Nate Schmidt grabbed a hold of a leap. Now Boquist takes a man down. That's Morgan Rielly. And Ekblad, he wants it. Somebody down there. Nick Robertson's up and off the ice after he scored. A big pile up in the crease. Sergei Bobrovsky has ventured off to the corner to let things cool down. Luostarinen and Stephen Lawrence wrapped up with one another. And now Nate Schmidt has hold of Robertson. And Ekblad is really going after somebody down there at the bottom of that pile that we can't exactly tell who it is yet. Now McCabe reaches in to help out whoever that teammate of his is that's just been peeled off the ice, and that was Max Domi who was down there at the bottom of all that. Yeah, and Ekblad, I think, got his money's worth a little bit. He landed a couple of shots down there after the scrum that followed the goal.
A pass out in front from Domi into Robertson. Robertson, one attempt failed, then gets it on the backhand. He has no helmet. He just tucks it down, and there's all kinds of skates and everyone flying, and Ekblad just trying to get after Domi.
Domi was who Schmidt tackled right away. But Aaron Ekblad unloaded with a couple on somebody, it looked like. It could have just been caught up in the shoving of everything going on down there. Nick Robertson activated to the lineup tonight. He gets the goal for Toronto, and unfortunately, here's the call. Well, I don't think our official's microphone is on, but it looks like some roughing call's been handed out here.
And that breaks over 120 minutes of shutout hockey. Yep. Last time you got to go back to game number 3. I'm not sure what time that was for Riley in the third period, but Sergei Bobrovsky well over 2 games of shutout hockey, and that is finally broken on that goal by Robertson. What a stretch for Sergei. Trying to sort everything out again.
1:06 to go, third period, 6-1. The Panthers over the Leafs, and yep, that's the most unfortunate part of all this is Sergei Bobrovsky's shutout bid is broken with 1:06 left in the third period. Would have been nice to see him get back-to-back shutouts, but there are bigger things in order here.
Bigger prizes, yes. Still a really good streak for Sergei Bobrovsky in net and this Panther team defensively. They can't figure out what's going on. They're pointing at every bench and every player. We had 7 players in the box at one time, and
careful, they might point at us.
I
think we're the only ones that didn't get pointed at.
I think so. Yeah. Both coaches are pointing at you here, you there. Looks like it's still going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Are we going to be allowed 5? Yeah. So it stays even strength for what's that's worth.
Yeah, it'll be 5-on-5. Nosek, Greer, Gadjevich, Kulikov, Schmidt. You figure Panthers would love to have this unit just close things out tonight. Actually, it looks like the Panthers are going to be on a 5-on-4 power play.
Yeah, not all that.
Panthers power play is presented by our friends at Publix, and off the draw, Carlo backs inside his own end. He'll launch one high in the air down to our left. Nate Schmidt after a final minute of play here in Game 5. The Panthers a 6-1 lead. Kulikov up the near side, then peels back into his own end. Ekblad got 2 for roughing. Domi got 4 for roughing and a 10. And Ekblad also got a 10-minute misconduct. 40 seconds left here in the third. 6-1 the score. Nosek to Gadjevich to Nosek. Just overshot him to the near corner. Kulikov after it. Kulikov around the end boards. Nosek in the far corner. Out to the line. Handled there by Schmidt. Far half wall Nosek. Back up top for Schmidt. Across for Kulikov. 23 seconds left in this third period of play. Greer up top Kulikov. Across then for Schmidt. Panthers working it around here, down behind the net. Gadjevich had one hop off his stick, but Greer has it. Looks out front, Nosek to Greer. Out to the near point, Kulikov. Across to Schmidt, 5 seconds to go. Schmidt plays it behind the net. Gadjevich there to the far corner. The final seconds tick away, and the Panthers take Game 5, 6-1 here in Toronto. The Panthers take a 3-2 lead in the series, and now we've got a dust-up as the horn sounds, and A.J. Greer against Stephen Lawrence. These two are ready to start throwing. Meanwhile, they tackle each other down. Nosek has a hold of, it looks like, Lawton over there. Schmidt's got Carlo, and I don't think anything further is going to escalate from this. The two teams are separated, and, well, as the horn sounds tonight, 6-1. The Panthers knock off the Leafs here in Game 5. The Panthers take a 3-2 lead in the series, and heading back for Friday night's Game 6 in Sunrise, the Panthers will have an opportunity to advance to the Eastern Conference Final for the 3rd consecutive year if they can win the next one.
Things cost a little bit more up here in Toronto, but the Panthers more than willing to pay the price this evening against the Leafs, and they throttle them 6-1.
So a 6-1
3 goals
final.
from defensemen, power play, everything just clicking in the right direction, and they will try and wrap it up back in Sunrise. Got a chance after losing the first 2 games. The Panthers reel off 3 straight wins.
Panthers, 4 players getting their first of the playoffs here tonight. 6-1, the Panthers over the Leafs. That's it for Game 5. The Panthers lead the series 3-2. We will step aside. We'll come back. A victorious edition of the Cats Recap shows next, right here on the Florida Panthers Radio Network, presented by Baptist Health.
This has been Florida Panthers hockey. The team coverage doesn't stop now. More with a Cats Recap show coming up on the Florida Panthers Radio Network.
Presented by Baptist Health.
We often welcome people as a standard greeting. It's become as common as greeting another with a hello. At Baptist Health, being welcome has far deeper meaning. So welcome to the warmer side of care, where we advance